channel. Tonight's program is fully stacked and fully loaded. You have been warned in advance. For those of you who may not have heard, or how could you not hear, so Donald Trump's ICE up there in Minnesota, a place that's been on our radar for a long time now. Now it's on the national radar again. I mean, you go from Philando Castile to George Floyd, and now this. So, in any case, they are upset. A white woman named Renee Good was killed up there by ICE. She was shot in her car. She was shot by ICE in her car. And boy, they weren't ready. They were not ready. They were not ready, as usual, to see a white woman gunned down. They were not ready for that. It did not, I want you all to understand what it didn't require. It did not require weeks and weeks of protesting. It didn't require people soliciting the national media. It didn't require all those things that have to be done when we show up. When it's something that happens to us, it takes weeks. Oh, the police don't know anything. The Attorney General of the state is Keith Ellison out to lunch. All of a sudden, it's none of that. It's none of that, man. They don't have to go through any of that. If it happens to a white person, everybody jumps to attention and they hop out there. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I'm just saying you're supposed to do that for everybody. No, it doesn't require Benjamin Crump. It doesn't require your local civil rights attorney or ambulance chaser. It doesn't require any of that. Why? They get the proper attention. The politicians take it seriously immediately. Nobody has to threaten them or threaten political action or anything else. Nobody has to do any of that. Not for them. It's never this easy for us. Oh, but it's a new day. Oh, but it is a new day because you see, there is a difference. What people did not understand or did not want to understand is that this is part of an ongoing pattern of behavior here now. This is part of an ongoing pattern of behavior here because they want you to know, folks, that what I said over a decade ago, it is coming to pass exactly the way that I told people that it would. You see, when you go looking up for Renee Good now, when you go looking up for her, I wanted you all to know that MAGA and the white supremacist males, they're letting you know it is open season specifically on white women. What? Oh, yes. They're letting you know what I told you and predicted over a decade ago, that when they allowed them and cheered the murder of a black child, Trayvon Martin, remember I told all of them, white women, just understand, you will be next. This isn't me venting or wishful thinking. You have forgotten the history. You have forgotten the history. And you go to Twitter and then you take a look at what they're saying over there. It seems the deceased in the obviously justified ICE shooting in Minneapolis is named Renee Good. As I have stated so many times before, white women have been weaponized against their own people and civilization. There is no easy solution to this problem. You would think they were talking about us. For all the folks who thought that they were going to sell us out and be spared. And I'm not saying that this woman is amongst that number, but unfortunately, as the old proverb goes, the rain falls on the just and the unjust the same. When it comes down, the rain will fall on the just as well as the unjust the same. This is why it is imperative that you fight for justice so that the rain doesn't fall in the first place. We got a lot of reading here to do tonight, folks. We got a lot of reading here tonight. You got folks justifying it and defending it. You got them justifying it and defending it. But they keep pointing out that she's a white woman. The left's entire narrative has been destroyed. Renee Good intentionally used her vehicle as a deadly weapon. There's no conclusive proof of that, but they make things up. And ended up losing her life to protect illegal Somalis. Oh, so this is about race war. The woke mind virus has destroyed liberal white women. This is the race war for them. If you thought that you could be a white woman and you would be exempt from the brutality and barbarism, you thought wrong, which is exactly what I said. You thought wrong. When you go down through here, once again, they want to make sure that you know some things, by the way. That's why they want to show her, because apparently she was married to a woman at the time. So, of course, they're going to, point that out, by the way. So that's what they're doing. They're letting you know that you will not be spared. Letting them know you'll not be spared. And then it comes down to this article here. Comes down to this article here. Minneapolis white women in SUVs filmed following ICE agents 2 days after fatal shooting of Renee Good. Folks, this is the headline from them. Take a look on your screens here. This is the headline. The headline, take a look at that. Now, that's what the headline says, is Minneapolis white women in SUV days after Renee Good was killed, from the Daily Mail. Now, I'm zooming in because I want you all to be able to read this part down here. Read what happens immediately after the headline. The headline says Minneapolis white women. Okay, but when you move right down into the first sentence of the article, it says a pair of Minneapolis women. Now, why does the headline make a point of pointing out their race, but when you read the article, all of a sudden, it doesn't say anything about their race? Let me return you to the original tweet here. This is the original tweet. And you can see it does the same thing. The headline is about these white women. But then right there below at the bottom of the screen, you can see there's the first sentence, Minneapolis women, which actually tells you that that's the header. So the metadata, apparently, they're having a conflict with themselves. But do you all see, they wanted you to know what the actual issue is and what they're pointing out. This is the Daily Mail, people. The Daily Mail is pointing out, look at these white women, that they are white. This is not the Nation of Islam Publishing or the Nation of Islam TV network. These are white outlets. These are white outlets. These are white outlets making it clear to you that the offense is a white woman who isn't on code. Oh, if you're a white woman who ain't on code, we're about to go ahead and put the beats on them. Which was exactly what I told everyone was going to happen. It took a decade, but exactly what I said. It didn't happen in the heaven and the hereafter in decades after we were all gone. No, I told you that we would see this in short order, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. I'm not done with it just yet. Not done with it just yet. Let me go ahead and take you back here. I posted this a few days ago because I wanted to make it clear. A lot of people did not understand my reasoning for posting this particular article from the right-wing MAGA New York Post. The right-wing MAGA New York Post. You see, most folks who saw this didn't understand the significance of this. You thought it was the New York Post bombing on Minnesota and the liberals there. And I'm like, no. See, I saw, hey, this is a white woman. The New York Post going out of its way to highlight by the way, we want you all to see this white woman. Now, they say the ringleader of a $250 million Minnesota welfare fraud scandal. A white woman. We've come a long way from Ronald Reagan and the welfare queen. We've come a long way from that. Everywhere you're going now, you're tripping and falling over this, and all of the ire, all of the venom, what they're telling you is that woke means anybody who doesn't bow to white men. Because woke doesn't have anything to do with white men. So, of course, it's white supremacist code. But yes, it's white supremacist code for they're taking this as their opportunity, as I predicted and said they would. They're going to beat everybody and try to whip everybody back into shape and back in line, starting with white women. Now, when I did my program about Trayvon Martin, going on 13 years ago now, when I did that program then and predicted every millimeter of this that's happening today, that this would be the inevitable result. Barack Obama leaves office a couple of years later, in comes Donald Trump, and it's been a downward slide ever since. And the very people who had defended those actions are now finding themselves subject to them, whether it is just or whether it is unjust. And they are making a point that it is white women who are being targeted. These are white males making it a point to say, by the way, these are off-code white women, and if you're off-code, well, damn it, you get what you get. They have to show this openly to everybody. You can't whisper this behind the scenes anymore. Now you got to put this on the front page to let everyone know, yes, this is what happens when you're not with the program. You will get no mercy. You will get no respect. You will get no leniency. That's the message that they're sending loud and clear. And it's not just there. Over there on YouTube, the alt-right and MAGA YouTubers, the so-called red pillars, which are just the alt-right. Oh, YouTube has spent years and years boosting them. They spent years and years boosting them, and they want to let you know. These are the guys who are running around specifically talking about white men and what they need to have and what they need to do. Well, there's this one guy here in particular from the Better Bachelor channel, calls himself Joker, and he lives up to the part. I'm going to start this from the beginning because he talks about himself, and I couldn't agree more with the opening of it, at least. Fair use, Joker, by the way, fair use.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thanks for joining me today. If you remember George Orwell's 1984, he had a very famous quote in it.
By the way, he usually opens up by saying that he's got a face for radio and a voice for print. So, okay, I can take it at that. But listen to what he has to say here.
For joining me today. If you remember George Orwell's 1984, he had a very famous quote in it. It was always the women, and above all the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, and the amateur spies and nosers out of unorthodoxy. Well, we've got some on-the-ground reporting of the ICE agents trying to continue doing their work in Minnesota. And Babylon Bee editor, Joel Berry, now his credentials, managing editor of the Babylon Bee. And as he's going through all of these photos and all the information that's coming across his desk to publish the stories that are coming in today, he says 80% of the protesters are white liberal women.
Damn! So basically, he comes out swinging. Within the first 60 seconds, he comes out swinging.
And if you look, you can see here very angry women, masked up, of course, masked up and goggled women. And these are, some of them are young, some of them are middle-aged moms. Of course, if you know what happened just a couple of days ago that I'm not going to go through because it's been all over X for the last 2 days. It's all you can see. A woman just spurred out and decided to try to mow down an officer. So I've got a bunch of videos, and as I've gone down through these, I have noticed that it's not just the women that are there screaming the slogans in the megaphones. It's the women driving the cars that are blocking them off and not allowing them to leave. It is the women that are getting in like fisticuffs, right? It's women wrestling with these officers. It is women that are 80% of this problem. And then you've got the weak beta males that for some reason attach themselves to these wackadoos, and they've decided to jump in and, of course, join the cause. I'm going to play through a couple of these videos. I'll keep the volume a little bit lower because I don't want...
So as you can see here, they got the code. Now, this is one of these YouTube channels that YouTube spent the last 3-4 years, boosting in the algorithm. They volunteer channels like this without you even trying to find them. So they bury ours and shadow ban ours, but openly promote these. They openly promote these to be part of the right-wing white supremacist echo chamber. Now, I want to let a little bit more of this play because I want you all to see the utter contempt with which he holds white women in.
I want to blow your eardrums out, but I do want you to hear the chaos. When I pull up statistics, I forget when the last election, when there was a graphic, and I didn't grab it at the time. I wished I had. There was a graphic that was shown, and when Donald Trump does something, they kind of poll different groups. They'll say, immigrants or legal immigrants, however they phrase it, and they'll say white men and black women, and they kind of go down through everything. And the one group that is most adherently against anything that Donald Trump, Republicans, or that is pro-America is the white liberal woman. They hate themselves. They hate everybody else. They hate the country. They hate everything. And because they don't have any children to care for, because they don't have a family life and a stable life in general, and many of them are getting paid because that's how they decided to make a living.
Okay, so now they basically have made up this myth that all of them are paid protesters because white supremacy is about I'm white and I say so. So if they make up a myth or a lie, well, then that's supposed to be the reality. But here's the thing. When he says liberal white women, folks, that's like when they say Black Lives Matter. That means any white woman who ain't with the program. It doesn't matter if you're anti-abortion. It doesn't matter if you're anti-drugs. It doesn't matter if you're anti-communism. You're a liberal white woman if you do not uphold white male supremacy. That is the only thing that certifies and qualifies you as not a liberal white woman. It's not about what you believe. If you are not supporting white male supremacy, guess what? You just became a liberal white woman. Take a look at Megyn Kelly. She spoke against Donald Trump. Well, she held a debate where she tried to be objective and asking objective questions of Trump, and that was enough to make her a liberal and get her run off of Fox. That was all it took. That was all they needed. Right there. So when he says liberal white woman, that simply means you ain't bowing down with the program. That's how you get your white woman card took. Right there. So he's throwing in liberal as a false qualifier, knowing this about, if you don't get down with the program, you're going to get the beats.
They're finding that this is their new cause. that instead of caring for a child and a family, they want to care about whatever cause, insert cause for the day, and that's the one that they waved the flags to and marched for.
All right, I need to take this sidebar right quick, everyone. I gotta take this sidebar right quick. You know, there has been this ridiculous, childish, pedantic, look it up, absolutely juvenile and brain-damaged argument from the swirler, interracialist, sick society that keeps trying to sell their interracial fetishes. Okay, if you got your fetish, do what you do. But being evangelists for, quote, dating out, that nonsense we've heard now for decades. And meanwhile, this is what you need to go get a white man or get a white woman, because look at how much happier the white men are, how much happier the white women are. Everybody goes around making up myths and lies. This is what's going on over there. You'll notice your swirlers and racial butt kissers, well, they don't show you any of this. You have a whole damn red pill movement, a whole damn Nick Fuentes movement. This is what's going on with nobody talking about that. While you sitting up here is trying to sell this fantasy tale lie that everything over there is just peaches and cream and, oh, get you a white woman because they're so subservient. Does he look like he's happy with the subservient women?
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no.
He's a white man sitting in white society with hundreds of thousands of subscribers who echo his sentiments. And you trying to tell us about how great it is over there, and he's having fits. They've got whole YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands and in some cases millions of subscribers, and they get nothing but fits while you tell him, yeah, you need to get you a white woman. He's got plenty of access to plenty of white women. Does he look pleased? Does he look content? Does he look satisfied? Like some demented Walter White from Breaking Bad? So after all these years of saying this, after all these years, does he look like he's happy with it? While they telling you, go get a white man. Okay, this is the white man. Go get you a white woman. He's giving you the commentary on the white women. He don't look too damn pleased to me. He's got all the access to all the white women you can name, that you can count. And he doesn't look too damn thrilled to me. Matter of fact, he looks mighty damn unhappy. Started off the video talking about George Orwell of all things in the context of white women. So yeah, so you want us to belly up to the bar and, oh, we need to go get us a great big huge swill of this? For all the folks who told us that it's so much better, the grass is so much greener on the other side. Those other people over there, I hate being around black folks because it's so messed up and so dysfunctional. Like this over here is peace and happiness. He's making YouTube videos bombing on white women. Yes, because things are just so peaceful and happy over there that they literally are making a career out of lobbing grenades. So all you folks who were trying to carry this garbage for all these years, I told you were wrong. I told you were stupid. You can choke on your passports.
And deal with it, nigga.
You're selling lies. I exposed them years and years ago. But by the way, if you need another brutal reminder, I'm going to put it on your ass anyway. But to have yet another brutal reminder, yeah, you're trying to tell us how wonderful it is and how peaceful and harmonious it is in white society. And meanwhile, the report from the trenches in white society.
So here's one of the latest that has been captured here outside of Minnesota, and I'll just kind of play it for you.
Step back. She hit her vehicle.
You can see she's actively fighting back. At first, you can see she's very red in the face. So she's very, very angry. Or, I don't know, she moved a little bit, which caused her blood pressure to skyrocket because she's probably tipping in at 320 pounds. But you can see here she's actively fighting back. She's pushing them. It's not just a, okay, lift me off the street, I'll go away peacefully now. She's wrestling back. This is entitlement unlike everything I've ever seen. I mean, I've never been in a scuffle with cops or anything else, but I can tell you this. I have been, pulled over before, and when an officer says, I need you to do X, I do X. It doesn't even mean that you're necessarily agreeing with what the cop is saying. It does mean that you realize that he's armed, you're not, and you better do what he says because things could go very south very quickly. But that is just the first. And I literally had 20 of these that I could have pulled up, but I just grabbed probably.
Okay, this looks familiar on your screens here now, doesn't it? Yeah, that looks familiar, doesn't it? Okay, just in case you thought this wasn't a conscious echo chamber passed around. Just in case you thought it wasn't. Just in case you thought it wasn't. Oh, man. I mean, this is a 20-minute video, by the way. So he's like, oh, he has a whole rant. This is a whole 20-minute video.
Know it all. I'm better than you. I'm the righteous one. You are in the wrong. I will do everything I can to impede you. There's no fear for repercussions. And this is what happened to the other woman. And she got herself a little bit too deep in trouble. And now she's pushing up daisies.
I mean, does he sound the least bit respectful or reverential about these white women? I mean, what happened to white solidarity? White solidarity stops at his white male boots. I mean, there was no compassion there at all. It's like you are the enemy. You are the enemy and you will receive no quarter and no mercy. I mean, just like, damn you, you didn't go on and that's your ass. Let me go to YouTube and make a whole video about it.
Continually see you following us, interfering with us, honking your horn, blocking our cars, you have a very high probability of making a really bad decision and being arrested today, okay?
I think I'm making exactly
I'm not.
the right decision.
Oh, then why are you giving her a warning? I'm giving her a warning to not interfere with what we're doing.
Now, if you heard what she said, I think I'm doing exactly what I should be doing. The entitlement is off the charts. As a young man, if you mouth off to the wrong person, that guy will punch you in the face. You're not going to have a very good time. If you act a fool, maybe in middle school or high school, the bully is going to put you in your place. And it doesn't mean that the bully is a good person. I'm not even saying that. It just means that you learn your limitations and that if you push it too far, there are physical ramifications that will hurt. They hurt you. And you decide, you know something, I don't like this situation. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I don't want to get in over my head. And you find that balance. These women, they
in the chat room, very good point. Ashley Babbitt is a saint, and Ashley Babbitt is a victim, even though she was doing way more than Renee Good or this woman are. So Tucker Carlson was lying about that earlier this week. So, yeah, it's I'm white and I say so. It's whatever version of reality we tell you it is today. Your video recording doesn't matter. Your pictures don't matter. Reality doesn't matter. Reality is whatever we say it is today. Hell, whatever we say it is this minute. And if we change it the next minute, damn it, that's the new reality.
They fear nothing because they've been allowed to get away with everything, especially in these lawless areas where no one is held accountable for anything. But also the young men that are involved in this kind of stuff. I would bet a significant amount of money. Most of these people were raised without fathers to teach them boundaries and teach them control.
What? Damn! What? Oh, man. I mean, there's a coon out there somewhere that just winced. There's a coon out there somewhere that just had some abdominal hernia discomfort when they heard that. That's right, Zaddy, you call him out. Oh, wait a minute, there's no black folk there. Wait a minute. Hold on, wait a second now. Yeah, there's some coons and bedwenches out there somewhere. They're tied knots when they felt that, boy. They got their ulcers started acting up when they heard that. While they're trying to sell you on the alleged perfection of the group dynamics outside the black society, while they're steadily trying to sell you on that one. Yeah, take a look at how quickly these allegations get repackaged and weaponized against you. You saw how quickly it got repackaged. I mean, flawlessly, seamlessly, effortlessly.
Get away with everything, especially in these lawless areas where no one is held accountable for anything. But also the young men that are involved in this kind of stuff. I would bet a significant amount of money. Most of these people were raised without fathers to teach them boundaries and teach them control. Instead, they've been raised up through school and they've been raised by their single mothers to be able to say, I can do what I want. You can't tell me what I et cetera, et cetera.
To not make a bad decision today and ruin your life.
Whoa, bad
okay,
decisions.
Thank you.
That's funny coming from you.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you. Have a good day.
I hope you have a terrible day.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the whistles you hear in the background are the operatives that have decided to get whistles and blow them to warn everybody in the neighborhood, all the illegal immigrants, that the ICE agents are there and they better clear out. So they're literally helping the criminals. Now, many of these agents that are out there, CBP and the ICE agents, they're actually going after Tren de Agua and many of these other like crime syndicates.
That's not what they're doing here. So, like I say, just white supremacist MAGA lying because that's all they got.
And that's who they're after. They're after the worst of the worst in society, trying to clean up everything. And the women just aren't having it because they've swallowed the slogans that these are just poor, innocent brown people that are being persecuted by our government. They're the ones that have swallowed the slogans. They're the ones that are literally destroying everything.
Watch out, it's slippery.
I mean, do you see how he's demonizing them like that? Yeah, everybody thought that this was reserved for black folk. The coons and butt kissers told themselves that I can stay on the good side of white supremacy. I'm smarter than the rest of you little black empowerment B1 people, because I know how to play the game. I know how to stay on Massa's good side. Massa ain't got a good side. Massa doesn't have a good side. He's got power for himself, and then there's everything else. And what everybody is finding out now is that, yeah, what we told you for centuries now is true. Massa ain't got a good side. You can't hide on his good side. You can't placate his good side. He doesn't have one. And at some point, he's going to let you know that you're delusional about thinking you're on his good side. At some point, he's going to give you the work too. Well, that someday is here now.
Now, one thing I will say is this ICE agent, as he's going across here, he said to the lady, have a nice day. He wasn't over the top. He wasn't mean to her because she wasn't really mean to him. Someone else following along with a camera to make sure he's doing everything like a good little boy, because anything he does wrong, they're gonna publish to everybody. He even just there said, be careful. It's very icy here. Don't slip. Maybe it's a good thing this many cameras are on these officers and it puts them on their best behavior. But that also tells you that when they decide to wrangle up somebody like Miss 3-Ton Mary over here, when they have to wrangle somebody up, they're not doing it, just because they want to rough things up. They're doing it so they can get their job done and actually protect the scene as they're going about their business. I'm not sure. I think he goes up to another vehicle and he tells them the same thing. And here you've got another Karen sitting in the passenger seat filming him. He's just as nice to them.
Okay, a brief reminder here. Black people did not create the term Karen. We're not the ones who made that term. Just a brief reminder to you. Just a brief reminder. We didn't make that term. We didn't do that. So it's just giving you a taste here of how quickly things can change. Take a look at how quick they got a slur for everybody except themselves. Remember that. They got a slur for everyone except themselves. And this is just a reminder just how quickly you can get your slur.
Okay, have fun. Don't make a bad decision today.
It's not illegal to follow you. What is illegal is stopping people unconstitutionally.
I love the fact that these people are like, what you're doing is unconstitutionally. Since when did any of them ever care about the Constitution? They literally don't, unless they can use it in their favor. See, they'll use it to protect themselves, but then when it comes to you protecting you, well, we don't care about the Constitution. Same thing, another instance. This is Amuse says trained ICE Watch activists, trained ICE Watch activists.
So as I said here, he looks completely thrilled and happy and content and satisfied now, doesn't he? Not a bit of discontent anywhere. Why on earth would you possibly think that was the case? He looks perfectly happy with it, as he is going on a minutes-long screed here to let white women know that they're going to justify literally everything that they do against you. They are going to justify everything that they do over your dead bodies. Over your dead bodies. Now, I want you to, there's something else I want to also go over here, because this guy, he's one of these people that I've warned you about for years and years. I warned you all about these kind of guys here for years and years. When you can talk about your so-called red pill content, you don't have any camaraderie with them. There's no camaraderie with them. You can tell yourself all you want to that you think somehow you got some camaraderie with them. This is one of these guys who talks about the South Side of Chicago and how the white males need to rise up in the South Side of Chicago. He's one of those people there. But by the way, you want to hear about things turning on its ear? I want you to keep in mind the South Side of Chicago, because he's about to invoke the South Side of Chicago as a positive. What? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, y'all are not ready for it. But by the way, he's about to invoke the South Side of Chicago as a positive. Listen for yourselves.
And look at this. Look how aggressive she's driving behind him.
Dumb bitches, you're not going anywhere.
And another car has pulled up in front of them and blocked them in place. This is why things happen to you. You just can't do this. Now, the reason why they feel comfortable doing this is because it's law enforcement. Because these guys have restraint, they're not going to do anything for the most part unless they really feel at risk. If you did this to, say, somebody down in Southside Chicago, you'd be ended. The brown people that are so persecuted that you're so scared of, if you did this to a quote-unquote Southern Chicago black person or brown person, what you'd be doing is leaning over your steering wheel with 3 holes in your head, and the horn would be going, that'd be the end of you.
Oh. Well, all of a sudden, why, he's talking about that as a positive. Why, that would be totally justified. Oh, isn't that amazing? Isn't that interesting? All of a sudden, the South Side of Chicago is, he's standing on business. All of a sudden, he thinks it's great. Southside Chicago, all of a sudden, it went from being, oh, terrible, awful, to all of a sudden, they stand on business down there. Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page here. So, yes, indeed. Yes, he's letting the white women know that, by the way, if you get it and you get got, then they are all in favor of it. While I'm doing that, let me go ahead and throw up the Zoom link here while I'm at it. Let me go ahead and throw that up here while I'm at it there. I want to just do that right quick so we can have that up there. And that's going to be kind of important here because I want to get to a couple of things. I do want to get to a couple of things here because just in case anybody was wondering. Oh, yes, we do watch these kind of things. In the chat room, Blacker25 needs to be on Zoom for me here. He needs to be on Zoom for me here, and the producer for real needs to be on Zoom. We're going to give them 2 minutes to be on Zoom here. And just remember, I don't have to defeat their points. As soon as they run from it, they've made the defeating the point for me. So them or anybody else my mods have told you have to call up there. There's the link to the Zoom. So you're going to be front and center here to go ahead and explain that to everybody. And I know programs like tonight, I mean, it just makes your little butt hurt. I know it is bringing the pain to you. You're like, damn it. Why does Jason have to expose us like this? We like our narratives. Deify white society. Everything is Mayberry in white society. You Negroes are so dysfunctional and messed up. If you were white, it would be next to heaven. It would be wonderful. Then I go off and show this and they go, damn it, damn it, damn it. Damn. Why does he have to do that? And you know, I can sit here and play videos like this all damn day. I don't just have one or two. So I know you sitting there and I know your ulcers are eating you alive and you like, damn, why does he gotta do this? They'll be sending little notes to Joker's channel. Stop, man, you're giving them too much ammunition over there, bro. Quit doing that, bro. You're messing up our social media, dude. They're supposed to be worshiping us, dude. You can't show the ugly underbelly, dude. How are we going to convince everybody we're perfect, dude? We had social media eating all this up and you just derailed it. You and all the rest of you dead, all of you black pillars, all you dead pillars. Now it becomes that. Now it becomes that, oh, did we kill your little interracial worship? Did we kill that? Oh, did we run it over in the middle of the road? Did we kill your little worship scam you had going? Did we make the coons look even more ridiculous than they already are? Did we do that? Like Steve Urkel. Did I do that? Well, it was never a real thing to begin with, so at some point you had to wake up. It was never real to begin with. We're going to jump over here on Zoom. Now, for the folks I told to call up, they need to be on Zoom here. So I'm not sure who Rick is, but Rick, make sure you have your camera and microphone turned on just so we don't have any trolling. Nobody's going to see you except me. Just make sure we're not having any trolling issues, but I'll give you a couple of seconds for that. Okay, Rick, were you right now? I only want to talk to folk who were asked to call up. So, Rick, were you asked to call up? You got a camera pointing at the ceiling there, Rick. I'll give you 3 seconds to get that adjusted for me or permanent vacation. All right, Rick, unmute yourself, sir.
There we go.
Okay, Rick, were you asked to call up?
No, sir.
Okay, well, right now I only want the folks I asked to call in right now. So just hang tight a little bit. I'll open it back up to everybody up here in a little bit. Right now, just for the folks who are asked to call up, that way they can't lie and say, Jason, they didn't ask us to call in. No, you're being told, no, you got to call in. Yeah, go ahead and let everybody hear the vast high IQ intellect. Let everybody hear the vast high IQ intellect that we all come to know and love here. All right, I got Free on Zoom. Free, were you asked to call in?
Good evening, Jason. I'm not sure. I saw the Zoom link. I came in late.
Okay, sir. Well, if the mods didn't ask you to call in, we're not taking general calls just yet. So if you're not one of the folks they asked to call in, that's not you.
Well, I was signing up for Zoom, and I got a link, so I'm not sure if I was told to call in or not.
Okay, well, no, sir. Thank you very much here. No, just in the chat room there. Like I say, y'all, I don't have to knock them down. They knock themselves down. I don't have to knock them down. See, back when it was a one-way conversation, they could lie and hide back then. It's like, wait a minute, if y'all are telling the truth, you need to come and step up. I'm not destroying your position now. You're destroying it. Please understand that if you won't stand behind your trolling and whatnot, you can't make other people confident. They can't be confident when you won't even stand behind it. So we used to not have an opportunity to publicly display. Man, look here, they're not going to stand behind a syllable of this. And this is why what they're seeing bothers them so much. You see, the reason why Benny Johnson is sitting over there shaking in his boots, he might allegedly have his boyfriend with him tonight. What? You take a look at these numbers out here, because they're seeing that trolling online does not defeat. They've seen this before. Please understand. We gave people the motivation and the example to follow by following our culture of resistance. This isn't new to them because they saw us demonstrate how you do this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. They've seen us consistently show them that. And this is why they know how to do it today. They know how to do it today because they watched us lay the foundation. And even in the winter and the snow and the cold, they know what it's like because they've been through the boot camp. They've been taught how to do this. They saw the example. They saw this is not a drill. And take a look at them. Benny is scared to death because they were talking about, oh, it's not going to be a reaction. It's like, oh, no. See, they saw our example. They're not following your example as the white supremacist white male. They're not following your example. They're channeling their inner FBA is what they're doing. And it looks like this. No approval from the corporate media. No approval from the social media. They found a culture and a cause and a purpose. And you see, they were doing this in the recent history, which is why they're able to do this now. These are the cultural mile markers that make the white supremacists scream in terror and fear because no one is following their example. When people take to the streets, they're following ours. They're following ours. I need you to understand the power that you have over a culture and that they recognize these things. That's why they document when this occurs. You see, if they tell you that the shooting was justified, you're supposed to just go home. And you're just supposed to say, oh, well, the shooting is justified. Please remember, people, nobody was taken to the streets after something like this before we did. No one was taken to the streets like this before we did. Understand that what Benny Johnson is trying to say is that when the white male tells you there is no problem, you are supposed to say there is no problem. But this is where they're telling you there is no problem. And like I told you all before, the critical issue, you're in a prison. And when the prison guards tell an inmate to move, he's supposed to just move when they tell him move. The prison goes on high alert when the prison guard tells the prisoner to move, and the prisoner stands still. The prisoner doesn't even have to swing on him. He doesn't have to fight him. He doesn't have to talk to him. If the guard tells you to move, if the person in white supremacist authority tells you to move, and you don't move, at that instant right there, right at that second, everything is gone to hell. Everybody's on high alert. We have a major emergency. You see, after all these centuries, he is supposed to have the power of life and death. If he speaks, it's supposed to come into reality instantaneously. So there's not just a major disturbance in the force, there is a cataclysmic, catastrophic disturbance in it. When he tells you there is no problem in Minneapolis, and then they turn out on the streets like this. No celebrities involved. You see, you used to have celebrities show up, or newscasters show up, or CNN show up. No celebrities involved. No celebrities required. Black empowerment, as Ian Carroll would say, has broken containment.
And deal with it.
They're channeling the example that they saw us lay down. They can't be channeling Benny Johnson's example. He never made one. He can't. No, what frightens the Benny Johnsons is they've seen this before. We've all seen this before in the exact same city. The exact same city. And we all know what happened right after that. Don't we? Did it remain contained in Minneapolis, people? Or was Minneapolis just ground zero as it sent shockwaves around the nation and around the world? You better believe they are documenting every inch and every instance of this, because white supremacist male power and hierarchy hangs in the balance. They do not have the luxury of ignoring this. White supremacist male hierarchy and authority hangs in the balance, and they watched a complete destruction and deterioration of it happen 6 years ago. They watched as there was nothing they could do, and it completely disintegrated in front of their eyes. I've been documenting this for you all, that they keep bringing up George Floyd, keep bringing that up, because they're terrified of this. Something they didn't cause, something that they didn't call for, something they didn't ask for, which means automatically it is beyond your control. Automatically. And they know the playbook to run because they ran it 6 years ago. So they don't have to figure out what to do. They already know what to do. Now, this is why they are holding a grudge about our actions with George Floyd to this very day. I've been reminding you all year after year. You know they keep bringing it up, right? You know they keep bringing it up, right? They keep bringing it up because they are terrified that this will become a contagion. I need to remind my people of something. Please remember, for those, and there's a bunch of you, I have to remind you because a bunch of you either were too young to remember or witness it, or you weren't even born yet. I remember watching on the news. Those of you today, you can go look it up on YouTube, look it up on Google Images. China, Tiananmen Square. When the Chinese Communist government was dishing out injustice everywhere, and it was the college students who took to the streets. The college students took to the streets in China, and they were holding up pictures of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. What? When they took to the streets, their inspiration for justice was not Chiang Kai-shek. They didn't go to Chiang Kai-shek or the Ming Dynasty. or Bruce Lee or something like that. They were holding up pictures of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. You go look it up. All my folk who remember watching the news, we were watching young Asian college students walking down the streets with pictures of Dr. King. That's why I said you can go Google it today because you will find it. That wasn't a little thing. They were marching around with pictures of Dr. King. That was the example they were following in Tiananmen Square. And around the world, whenever there is injustice, they have to look at the only truly righteous people who have set the example of how you stand by that. Because you see, they have to know in their hearts that they're doing the right thing. This is why I've had callers for the last couple of weeks asking about how we would take reparations and, what if we had to do some disreputable things, or what if we got some blood money for it? And I said, you cannot give that up. No, you cannot do that because we cannot give up our righteous position. We cannot do that. That's the currency we truly trade on. That is our name. That's why nobody really can side with white supremacy long term, because at the end of the day, it is injustice and unrighteousness. You can't inspire people with injustice, folks. The bottom line is, I don't care how much injustice you suffered. You can't inspire other people with injustice. Only justice will inspire them. Only justice makes them say, I want to be like you. Only justice does that. That's why we can never give that up. They were holding up pictures of Dr. King. Around the world, they hold up pictures of Malcolm. They hold up pictures of Huey. Folks who don't know a damn thing about being revolutionaries, but they saw us set the example, and the example was totally righteous. They glum onto us because they need to have the reassurance of the righteousness of what they're doing. That's our culture. And that's our power. And they are witnessing as history repeats itself. They're watching as history repeats itself without our direct involvement. Now that tells you that the culture has spread. Without even our direct involvement. Well, this is after they told you to leave, after they told you to go home. But you see, when we rallied the troops and they were out there 6 years ago, they know what to do now. It comes second nature. They didn't just sit there on Twitter. They take it to the streets. And this is an ominous thing for the white supremacists to see. This is ominous. This is ominous. Now, I need you all to understand something here. I don't want things to get too far along before I clarify this next point. Very, very important that I do this. Now, there have been some coonified individuals or some low-key white supremacist trolls. You've already been defeated because my mods should have banned you by now. You won't even stand by your own points, which is the point I wanted to make, is that they're cowards. They won't stand by any of this. Understand something here. There are some of you who misinterpret things, which is why you have to have the new black media, because you're not very strategic. This is not about whether or not you support Somalians. This is not about whether or not you support illegal aliens. This is not about any of that. This is not about any of that, people. We need to be present for this. We need to be able to document and be able to identify the effect of our actions. What you see here is a direct effect of our actions. Whatever Renee Good and them were doing, that was what they were doing. But this right here, oh, no. This wasn't happening in Minneapolis before we set the model. This right here you see on your screens, this was not happening before we set the model of doing this. So you see, it's incumbent on us to keep up with the ramifications, because you see, this is how you monitor whether or not you've changed a society. I want you to understand something here. Benny Johnson is a white supremacist scumbag. If he's unhappy with what you see here, then you need to take notice. When the white supremacists are unhappy with something that they see, that doesn't necessarily mean that we support all of it, but understand something here. If he's unhappy with what we see here, wait a minute, before you have a knee-jerk reaction about, wait a minute, should FBA support this? I want you to understand, if he's not happy with it, you need to take notice of that. Take notice of everyone who's not happy with what they see, because it lets you know that there is an element in here. There is an element in here that we want to take notice of, because it may need to be utilized in the future and see the value of it. Recognize when you see something that transcends the so-called current narrative, people. Recognize when you see something that transcends the current narrative. Don't you get stuck in the very simple, remedial, basic Sesame Street terms of the equation. This transcends that little petty, puny narrative. When so many of the white supremacist males out there and white supremacists are unhappy about what they see here, can you look behind the photograph and behind the image and see what it is that really bothers them? I need you all to understand something. Revolutionary energy has always been a firestorm. Revolutionary energy has never been a simple match burning. Revolutionary energy has always been an inferno. It's always been about you trying to corral this firestorm, because they know that these things can spiral out of their control very quickly, not just physically, but on a societal level. What you see here on your screens is a bunch of people basically echoing that what we said 6 years ago was right. The white supremacist males are saying that we should be allowed, that white supremacy should rule everything. And people, what is white supremacy? White supremacy is having the freedom and the power to mistreat anybody at will. You want to be rich? You can work hard, although you don't have to, because you ain't going to. Or you can go steal what this guy over here got. What these folks over here, these slaves, these West Africans, East Africans, Venezuelans, just go knock them over the head and take what they got. Mistreat them. You're white. That's your right. You have the right to do that. And that's white supremacy. And everything is good as long as everybody stays home. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, it's really bad that happened, but all right. But you see, when a society begins to change, and across the board, it's just like they're taking every opportunity to push back against the so-called dudes in charge. Don't you think the people in charge automatically recognize that, acknowledge that, and panic? That their reflexive reaction to a white woman being killed was to take to the streets, knowing that this is in direct defiance of the white supremacist males. People, that's the definition of losing control. The circumstances are almost irrelevant. Almost, they're not irrelevant, they're almost irrelevant. Why do you think you see all the bad guys panicking? They are supposed to be able to execute injustice, and you are supposed to sit there and say, oh, well, I'm happy. Thank you, massa. May I have another? See, here's the problem with Joker the Joke. In their white supremacist pathetic worldview, everyone is supposed to be happy to be dominated and abused and exploited by them. You're supposed to be happy, and the most you're supposed to do is just have a hangdog expression while you go back to picking the cotton. But you're supposed to be happy to be exploited. Why, you're supposed to consider that to be a badge of honor. And to the bedwenches and coons, it is. So you see, in their twisted, sick mentality, you're supposed to be happy to get colonized, happy to get overrun. Why, it's just your natural place. As a matter of fact, you're the one with the mental or emotional illness or disease if you don't accept slavery and servitude. While the problem's not with him, the problem is obviously in you. Have you ever considered here, Joker, the joke that white women have had enough of you? What? Damn! Damn! See, here's the story right here that the coons and ass-kissing clowns don't want to talk about here. Have you ever considered, dude, that the real issue is that maybe white women have had enough of you? See, there's the real worst case scenario for you to have to consider. That, you know what, maybe white women have had enough. Maybe white women have spent, maybe just enough of them have spent just enough time witnessing and watching the righteous that they no longer have there's a growing number of them that don't have a taste for you and your bull crap anymore. Have you considered that possibility? That it's not because they're sick? When you say stupid things like there's a mind virus, what you're saying is there's some third party factor that's causing that to occur. What you don't want to acknowledge is no, they look at you and your behavior. They're not sick for fighting you. They were sick when they were accepting your abuse. That was when they were sick. Black people were not sick when we went into revolt. We were sick when we were accepting the abuse. That was when we were sick. That was the mentally ill version of us, which is why you told every lie in the universe to try to defend it. No, we were sick when we were accepting your abuse. That was the sick version. The healed version was the one that picked up this stick over here, picked up this pole over here, picked up this brick over here, and got some liberty and justice. That was the healed version. So as devastating as it might be for you and the rest of the scruffy barbarian cave dwellers, perhaps it is because white women, maybe it's not white women are sick. Maybe it's because white women are actually getting well. And what they're doing is saying anything you're against, they are for. Even if they don't understand what it is they're fighting for, if you don't like it, then it must be good. So they're looking to you as their model of what they don't want to be. Perhaps you've considered that possibility, although I imagine that would be too terrifying for you to consider. Because what that means is not white women are lost. What it means is white women are gone. Damn! Now, you spent all this time trying to hijack black women's minds and whatnot, and meanwhile, you were not watching what was happening to white women, so you have not considered maybe your women aren't just weak, maybe they aren't just lost, maybe they're gone. Maybe it's over. Maybe they've watched a white supremacist male that they can no longer respect and no longer admire. Maybe they've lost all respect, much less all admiration for you. Have you considered that, Jokey? See, you were counting on the fact that everybody's going to come back eventually and bow down and kiss up and whatnot and deify you. Okay, but if his own, stop me if this sounds familiar, people, if your own women are in open rebellion against you, then what is the message that sends to everybody else who was thinking about giving in to the temptation and the marketing to worship you? What message does that send to everybody else? See, that's why they're particularly triggered when they saw these things. That this right here was particularly triggering. He didn't want to have to see this because, oh man, this is not good. You've got white women out here. I mean, he's upset. These are white women literally fighting white men out here. White men in so-called authority. It's like, oh, the optics of this are terrible. The optics of this are awful. This means you have lost complete and total control. You have none. None. See, you thought you were engineering this for everyone else. And do you see his face, y'all? Do you see his face as he watches that? Do you see how pissed off he looks? What?
Auntie, chill.
Do you see his face? Oh, do y'all see that? Oh, look, his face went sour and that was it. Oh, look at his lip. Did y'all see his bottom lip? Look at his bottom lip when I play this for you. Look, oh, do you see that bottom lip? He can't even hide his rage. Oh, do you see his lip? Do you see his face? He can't even hide. He is enraged looking at this. You damn well better believe, as far as he's concerned, the penalty is death. Oh, that you see it on his face. You already know, oh, that is it. The penalty is death. No need for a trial, no need for a hearing. Take her to the headsman. You are done. No more discussion. And that's why I want you all to understand that we are monitoring the events because these are the stakes. You cannot get caught up in little petty calculations of little petty things. We have to have a global view. Regardless of the circumstances that might have precipitated these events, we have to catch events in real time. And I just couldn't help but notice that the white supremacist males were particularly upset and unhappy about this event. I couldn't help but notice it. Now, do you think that it's about to get better? Do you think it's about to get better for white women? No. No, it's not about to get better for white women. It's not about to, because it can't get better for them. Because you see, history isn't just going to repeat itself in some minor ways. It's going to repeat itself in some more prominent ways too. It's going to repeat itself in some more prominent ways too. Let me give you a gentle reminder here. Just a couple days ago, Tucker the Sucker Carlson was talking to Megan Ku Klux Kelly. And the both of them, why, 20 years ago, they were all rah-rah for the war in Iraq, and then it went horrendous. 25 years later, Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly are nowhere near as confident and supportive of Trump's regime change actions in Venezuela. As a matter of fact, Megyn Kelly's made it very clear that she is very skeptical about this. Oh, she's very skeptical about Trump's actions. Not just about is it strategically right, but is it morally right? She's very skeptical about it. And I'm like, oh, you better watch yourself, Megyn. Oh, better watch yourself, Megyn. The last time that you questioned Donald Trump, you got kicked out of Fox News and got cast into the wilderness, and it took you a year of ass kissing to get Donald Trump back in the White House, and that's the only reason you were able to rebuild anything. So you are walking the knife's edge. Megan is walking the knife's edge right now. Megan, you can find yourself exiled back to the wilderness again, ma'am. You need to be and tread very carefully. Oh, you could find yourself exiled again, this time for good. So what you're saying might be accurate, but no, just understand you belong to the mob. You belong to the mob now. So, thinking you gonna backtrack. Thinking you gonna backtrack, oh, that might come with a penalty. Especially as a white woman in an era where they're having no mercy on white women. They already have contempt for you as a white woman who doesn't know her place. People, the bottom line of this is they are angry and enraged, and MAGA has declared open war on specifically white women because the white women no longer know their place. Charity begins at home, so does retribution.
And deal with it.
Charity begins at home, but so does retribution. And so for the white women here, they are ground zero. They are exhibit A. And imagine their shock and their horror as they watched a white woman get triple tapped to the head. See, they were hoping so much that it would be a Somalian or at least be a Latina or something. They didn't want it to be an actual white female. They didn't want it to be an actual Anglo white female. They were so unhappy about that, but she's an actual white woman. Oh, the optics are terrible. The optics are awful. After all, Megan Ku Klux Kelly told us about how essential it was to defend all the white women in Charlotte, remember? Oh, you can't go around killing unarmed white women. Remember, she's got mentally ill black males to demonize. Remember, so Megan has already set the template. You cannot harm an unarmed, helpless white woman. You can't do that. And even if the white woman is armed, you can't harm white women. Ashley Babbitt. You can't do that. So Megan, oh, the timing of all these things is outrageously tragic for you. Very unfortunate and very tragic for you, because now you're going to have to defend the killing of a white woman. You're going to have to tell everybody why it's okay to kill a white woman. Well, this certainly disrupts the narrative you were trying to put into effect about, hey, you got to defend all the white women. Now, okay, well, all white women got to save all the white women now. Hey, women, this woman over here. Well, you know, if you get in the way, you get murked. Well, okay, are we defending white women or killing them? Depends on what week it is. Okay, we're confused. We're confused. Hey, Megan, you're confusing us. Are we protecting all of y'all, or is it just open season? Or because we may wake up one morning and wait, we can't defend you until we find out what season it is. Intervention! Megan, you're confusing everybody. How do we run to your defense when you tell us only defend white women on certain seasons? Well, next time you try to rally the troops, everybody's gonna freeze because they gotta go check. Wait, Megan, let me check what season it is. I'll be right back, Megan. I gotta go see what season it is first. Remember, you already told us that we can't just go out there half-cocked and blind. Okay, so I gotta go check what season it is. Megan, I'll be right back. Let me check what season it is. Well, that's hella inefficient. So next time you want to whip up the troops, they can't just come out and back your play. The first thing they're gonna say is, wait a minute, I don't want to. It's been a few hours, so Megan may have changed her position. Let me check and see what season it is. And they can't just come to you to find out either. They can't just come to you to find out either. Yes, white supremacy is a sick disease that eventually entangles itself, but it's not going to strangle itself. We have to make sure it strangles. And by monitoring the things, when they start going on alert and start saying things are bad, there's something that we have to remember. We didn't stand in the way to defend the Democrats. from the retribution and consequences of their actions, nor are we going to stand in the way of the white supremacist males and Joker and them when the consequences of their actions start to come down. Because right now you need help, you need backup or black up, and you don't have it. You told yourselves, don't worry, as white males, we're all we need. As white males, we're all we need. Everybody follows our lead. We got the game locked down. Take a look on your damn screen here, buddy. Does this look like you got the game locked down? Lie. Does this look like you're in control? Does this look like you're in charge? Looks like you've lost the plot to me. However, you might disagree. Therefore, we've gone ahead and opened up the link to the Zoom there in the chat room for everyone. We've gone ahead and opened that up for you here, so you are more than welcome to go ahead and give us a call and weigh in on this. We are the New Black Media, and you are a part of it. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to Nancy King. Thank you very much for your support tonight, Nancy. We appreciate that. Shout out to Third Eye Open. Thank you very much for your support here as well. Shout out to Mr. Richburg. As always, we appreciate that. Also to Mark B, Najee, Alyssa Bay giving out some memberships. MRW giving out memberships here tonight. The gift that keeps on giving, World Web Entity doing the same thing. So we appreciate that here as well. And to everyone for tuning in to tonight's program. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we will take your calls on Zoom and more. This is the Black Channel.
On the block, got the kids learning, minds open like a lock. Books and skills from the east to the west, bringing education, yeah, we're simply the best. Classes on fire, brains burning with desire, innovation driving like a tire through the mire. Math, science, history, we got the whole range. Kids hitting new heights, teachers making a change. Used to be the teacher, stacking up the grades, future bright shining, no need for no shades. Got the youth thriving, moving up the ladder, smart and sharp, brains growing fatter. Lessons so lit, yeah, they stay in a blaze. Every mind sharp like a sword in the haze. Mr. B in the house breaking knowledge chains. Education kingpin, we ripping the games. Used to be the teacher.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slavery and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening as we are discussing the MAGA declaring war on white women, specifically on white women. Oh, from your publications to your posters online, they are letting everybody know that this is what it's about. They're letting everybody know that this is what it is about. And a lot of folks here are worried, and they should be. They should be, especially when you see the paradigms starting to change. Now, I want to go a little bit further here because there's some housekeeping that needs to be done. There's some housekeeping that needs to be done here. And I don't want to get too far along here. But there's somebody else out there, you know, who is currently getting their wake-up call. And I would be remiss if I didn't cover this. Oh, Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds is running for governor of Florida. He is kissing every ass cheek he can get his hands on down there. So he is doing whatever, whenever, however. So he's looking to finally cash in that ass kissing voucher that he's been holding now for years. He's finally looking to do that. Well, Tucker Carlson got to having a conversation with one of the guys running against Byron Donalds. He got to having a conversation with this fella here. And I want to play a part of the interview for you all so you can see how it went and you can hear it for yourselves so that we can validate to you all that if you want to know whether or not our message got through, if you want to know whether or not we've changed the national narrative, do not believe me. Believe all these other people. As I told you, if you're waiting on a headline from the New York Times or the LA Times telling you that the black empowerment agenda has changed and no one's talking about diplomas and scholarships and desegregation anymore and that it's changed to something different, you're going to be dying waiting for that. It won't happen. Here's how the interview went.
Thing you need to know about my opponent, Byron Donalds.
What I know Byron, and I've always gotten along with him. He's super cheerful. I didn't realize, is he ideological? I've never detected that.
No. That's why I call him a slave.
Yeah. And they called you a racist for that?
They did. Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who...
What? Let me run that back one more again.
Is he ideological? I've never detected that.
No. That's why I call him a slave.
Yeah. And they called you a racist for that?
They did. Which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican, he is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting in their words that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery without a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
Damn! Damn!
Oh, man. So, wait a minute. Our talking points did what now? And yes, I know about the interview that he did with the young lady, so I know about that. There's a reason I didn't say anything before, and this was what I was waiting on. I wanted to see if this thing went parabolic. That's what I was waiting for. Folks, the exact talking points. Now, understand, there's only one place that came from. That didn't come from 15 different places. That didn't originate in 15 different things. Damn sure didn't come from Democrats, MSNBC, or the New York Times. There's only one place that came from. Just one. And it's not just about the talking points or the words. It's about the intent. It's about the ideology behind the words. Notice none of them are pushing back on it. Did you notice that? They're not pushing back on it and they're not arguing. As a matter of fact, you're about to hear Tucker agree with it. What? You're about to hear Tucker agree. I'm going to go ahead and let the whole thing play here now. Now that we got the preface out of the way.
Endorsing a member of Congress who told innocent children who were literally Byron Donalds.
What I know Byron, and I've always gotten along with him. He's super cheerful. I didn't realize is he ideological? I've never detected that.
No, that's why I call him a slave.
Yeah. And they called you a racist for that?
They did, which is actually quite interesting because I got a call from the Foundational Black American Society here in Florida who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican. He is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting in their words that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery without a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Tariq Nasheed and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything.
Nigga, what?
Nigga, what?
Nigga, what?
Yeah, folks, hell froze over and thawed out. Yeah, for those of you who might have been wondering, by the way, Jason, did you bring the goods? I brought the goods. Yeah, people, hell froze over and thawed out. You heard that with your own ears. He say he like us. Oh, man. Jason, we just thought you had some minor points tonight. Oh, no. We going in the deep end of the water.
In their words that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery without a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Tariq Nasheed and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years and the descendants of a lot of American slaves or families have been here 400 years, I don't know. I think that gives... I'll listen to you. Like you've
100%.
You've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure.
100%.
They're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, someone rolls in from Ghana and
Now, I could keep going, and yes, he does talk about the tether thing here in a moment. But by the way, people, when I told you Tucker's going to endorse us in just a moment. Jason, you're overstating it. Jason, you're exaggerating. Tucker would never do that. And then you just heard it. By the way, he didn't just endorse it. He endorsed us as heritage Americans. What?
You've got a point of view that is legitimate, I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure.
100%.
They're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is.
Okay, now we got to get Ann Coulter over here, by the way. All right, folks. All right. If anyone wondered whether or not our ideology, our statements, our perspective, if anyone wondered if we run the yard now, if anyone wondered if it got through, if anyone wondered whether these people heard what we were saying, people, we have been heard and seen at the very highest levels, at the very highest echelons. The goal now among the Democrats is to silence us and act like we don't exist. Everybody knows. They know our ideology inside out, upside down. When I said 5 years ago that ADOS was dead. What? Okay. You better get with the program, folks. It is what it is. It's no longer on the sidelines. It's no longer fringe, and it's no longer in the underground. It's broken containment. It's gone parabolic. It's gone pandemic. Oh, I know it's hurting your feelings. I know you're mad as hell. I get it. I know you're angry. You got some haters in the chat room. It's just, boy, have you ever had ulcers that felt like somebody was kicking your stomach from the inside? Damn! Oh, man, the haters can't take it. The haters are screaming. Oh, man, the haters like, I'll be damned. We didn't never think y'all would win. We didn't ever think that would happen. Yeah, you wanted to know what our culture is. Now you know. Oh, you want to know if our culture was winning. Now you know. Oh, we didn't need MSNBC or Joy Reid or any of the other live-in traders to tell us. No, we didn't. Jason's been saying this the entire time. Yes, I have. So, no, you're not going to get a press release from the White House. You're not going to get a headline from the New York Times. They are going to keep denying it until the day that one of us is sitting in the White House. If you're expecting the mainstream corporate media to concede defeat, you're going to be waiting forever. The fight's already over. They are not going to concede defeat. They're just going to keep claiming that the battle is still ongoing. Everybody heard us. There are those who have heard us and those who are pretending that they didn't hear us because acknowledging it is too devastating to their psyche. People, the message has gotten through. I said this 7-8 years ago. I said this when Hillary Clinton was running for president. The message has gotten through. Everyone now is organized and trying to deny it, but if they were to be totally honest with you, they would tell you not only have they heard the message, cut the check. Not only have they heard the message, cut the check. They know our entire ideology and exactly what we're talking about. They know it. They know the ins and outs and the intricacies of our ideology and our perspective. None of us are looking to a preacher. We're not looking to the clergy. We're not looking to the civil rights activists. Everybody knows it now. Everyone. So this hurts a lot of feelings. I saw when the dude was talking to the female there before. I saw that. And I was just like, okay, I'm waiting for something else. I saw that interview and I'm like, let me hold back a moment because I'm waiting for another shoe to drop. Well, the other shoe dropped. Let me go back and play this one more again because we had some more folks enter the chat room. We had some more people enter the chat room and want to play this for you all again. If you wondered if our ideology has broken through, it was Jason exaggerating years ago or whether it's the truth, don't believe me, believe our enemies.
Foundational Black American Society here in Florida, who reminded me that Byron's mother is Jamaican, he is Panamanian, and they found it quite insulting, in their words, that he would try to claim victimhood of slavery without a single descendant of American slaves in his family.
I like those foundational guys.
They're so good.
Tariq Nasheed and all. I mean, I don't agree with everything, but they've got a perspective. If your family's been here 400 years, and the descendants of a lot of American slaves, our families have been here 400 years. I don't know. I think that gives. I'll listen to you. Like you've
100%.
You've got a point of view that is legitimate. I think.
Yeah. And they're unequivocally heritage Americans.
That's for sure.
100%.
I mean, they're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is. And, someone rolls in from Ghana and gets an MSNBC slot and starts speaking on behalf of black people. It's like, shut up, honey. You've got nothing to do with this.
Right.
That's
Literally.
a fair perspective.
Right.
I think.
Now, I wonder who he's referring to there because he said, shut up, honey. So is he referring to a certain female? Okay.
And so it's good to actually see them call them out for that That's actually cultural appropriation. Appropriating the struggle of slavery.
I totally agree.
And the struggle of slavery was real. I don't think Republicans ever want to really whitewash that. It's real, right? But
Okay, Ron DeSantis and Republicans regularly whitewash slavery. So, no, Republicans do that all the time. As a matter of fact, that's part of their pardon trade.
We're against slavery.
We're against it.
Whether it's in the, West Bank or here or anywhere. Yeah, against it.
And so for Byron's group, his team, to call me and essentially our entire supporting base racists for saying that you're a slave when quite literally you took $45 million. You won't tell us what you agreed to take that money this early in a primary, which is unprecedented. You know this, how unprecedented that kind of money is in an uncontested primary until now. But secondarily, to actually go out and try to gaslight us and think that you're just one of those guys that has been here, since the early 1800s and your family was in the struggle too. You're not. And that's a very interesting term that the foundational Black Americans use. It's called tether. They're tethering these tethers like Byron Donalds. They come here literally one generation in, and they try to just sit around and act so folksy that we're all part of the same struggle and we're all down on and we need to fight against. No, you just got here, dude. Like the Haitians, like the guys from Ghana who just got here, you don't get to just be a part of our system and then lecture us about how our country went wrong.
Oh, man, Byron, you need some black up, dude, not just backup. You need us to come swinging in and to rubber stamp your black credentials right now. But Byron, you need some certified black folk who actually have credibility to come in and say, wait now, we can vouch for Donald. And right now, Byron Donalds is hearing the deafening sound of silence. He desperately needs some black people with credibility to come and defend him. And right now, there's nobody. And there's not gonna be anybody. No one is coming to his defense. No one. And he knows it. So you see, he's kind of got himself in a Candace Owens conundrum here. What do you do when you got white men who can call you anything they want to, and you want to yell racist? A fella who has denied racism up one side and down the other. All it takes is a white person to say something, and all of a sudden, Byron Donalds has been converted to yelling racism. Dude, you don't get to sit up here and say racism doesn't. Stop being a victim, Byron. Hey, Byron, you need to stop whining and being a victim. There is no racism. And you need to stop crying and whining and being a victim, Byron. You can't make a career of saying that racism doesn't exist and then say, well, it does exist if it hits me. So right now, folks, Byron going through it. And Tucker Carlson and this dude are sitting up here talking because they know that those of us who lead the agenda and those of us in the new black media who set the trend and set the agenda and have the national conversation, they already knew what we were going to say. They didn't go in on Byron because they thought that we might say something else. They went in because they know exactly what we're going to say. I'm not going to sit up here and cheerlead for Tucker Carlson. I'm also going to say, Byron, you own your damn own. That's your boy over there, Byron, ain't it? What? These yo people, Byron, you need to get over there and deal with your folk. Oh, and they are giving all of y'all the business. Vivek Ramaswamy is getting, I'm talking about turned every which way but loose up there in Ohio. Byron Donalds, folk ain't really paying attention right now. We all know as soon as they start saying, wait a minute, who's running for governor now? When they see Byron's face in Florida, oh, you know what comes next. Byron needs some help, y'all. Byron needs some help. Byron needs some help. Byron needs black folk to say, wait a minute, you can't talk about us like that. That's what Byron needs a great big heaping teaspoon of right now. He doesn't need Miriam Adelson just sending him $45 million. When people sit up here and put straight disrespect on your name like that, you need black folk to say, oh yes, we are all equally offended. He's sitting up here, I'm talking about getting to the foundational black folk. And we're saying, nope, we're not offended at all. Nope, as a matter of fact, yeah, he is a slave. He's more than that. He's a slave. He's a coon. He's a buck dancer. You left some descriptors out there, brother. You left some terms out there. Yeah, you left a few terms out. Yeah, you being nice with the slave thing. You being nice with that one. Yeah, we got a few other adjectives to throw in there. So you left some out. If you need some extra ones, we got a few right here in the bag. Byron needs somebody to come to his defense. He needs to have some black folks say, we do not like what you said. We don't like what you said about us. He needs that. And right now, he's like, Byron's like, hey, don't y'all hear them talking about us? And we like, Byron, no, he talking about you. And he's kind of right. Byron and his people trying to go around and say, hey, did you hear what he said about us? Byron, I heard that he's talking about you, dude. No, he's not talking about us. He's talking about you. This is not a black problem. This is a Byron problem. This is not a black issue. This is a Byron issue. Oh, and it's rough on you. It is rough on you. So yes, indeed, folks, a little bit of housekeeping right there, a little bit of house cleaning to do to let y'all know the message is out. Whether it's the Democrats in California and cut the check or the Republicans and the tethers and the identity of the foundation, it has gotten through. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Delineation is complete.
And deal with it.
By the way, one more thing here. What this also confirms for you is delineation is no longer in progress. Delineation is no longer in progress. Delineation is complete. Even outside of black society, they openly acknowledge it. Next step is to make it government policy. What? Damn! The next natural evolutionary step, folks, I'm strategic. I didn't lead you all into this because I'm guessing how we gonna get there and guessing what we do. The next logical step, I'm so glad that you all acknowledge our distinction. Now the next logical step is that it must be etched in stone as government policy, that the government recognizes us. It needs to be that. Pan-Africanism is dead. A lot of folks are going to be unhappy, but Pan-Africanism is dead. But you know what? Now you recognize we don't even need that. By the way, it's dead, but we don't need it anymore. Since we're the only ones who want to practice that, let's pick up something new. Yeah, we don't have to do that anymore. So, to those of you who may have been worried, may have been skeptical, for those of you who might have been thinking about that, I just want you to understand that yeah, if you were waiting on the national media to declare this, that's the reason you were waiting in vain. This is where it's at. So to anyone who doubted whether or not we are steering the national conversation, if anyone questioned it or wondered about it, ain't no question anymore. There's no more question about this. None. None. And so the next logical step is that this becomes government policy. And please understand, it'll be the Democrats who fight this more than anything else. What? By the way, the people who will most fight officially recognizing us will be the Democrats. They'll be the ones fighting it most. Just remember that. They've already shown that they are completely against it, and they'll be the ones who actually fight us the most on it. They'll be the ones holding the rallies and talking about why we don't need that. They'll be the ones telling us that we don't need to be divisive. Meanwhile, they have sat up here and distinguished themselves now for decades. So please remember, it'll be the Democrats who do that. They'll be the loudest voices telling us, no, you shouldn't be doing that. They'll be the loudest voices speaking against us. In any case, let me go ahead and jump over here on the Zoom right quick. I got folk piling up on Zoom over here, so let me see if I can go ahead and get to that. Let me just check right quick and see if Rick is still waiting around. If Rick is, we'll go ahead and get him up. If he's not, we'll go ahead and move on. So Rick, I can give you 5 seconds to go ahead and get up here for us here. Then we got to move on, Rick. Hope you didn't mess around and miss your chance. So Rick, we can give you 3 seconds here to go ahead and get up with us here, Rick, and then we can have you on, Rick. You've been sitting there for a minute. We can give you 1 more second to have you on here, Rick. Then we got to move on. Okay, folks, Rick missed a chance. All right, let's see if we can get, who is Idaphone? Ildephone? Okay, not sure what this is. Okay, Ildephone, whoever you are here. By the way, folks, if you're on Zoom, make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on. You won't be put on YouTube unless you're trolling. Just make sure you have your camera and your microphone turned on just so we can make sure there's no trolling issues. All right, there you go. Now, how do you pronounce your name?
My name is Hilda.
Okay, Ilda. All right, Ilda, what's on your mind?
Well, you talked about a lot of things already, but there was just one thing that I've been hearing you, listening to you, and
for how long?
I guess maybe for a few months, maybe like 6 months.
Okay, better late than never. All right, what's on your mind?
So no, you say a lot of things on your show, and it seems like you're kind of like a prophet. So I was just wondering, about your opinion regarding, the situation, that's going on right now with politics and a lot of people, like you're saying, people that are protesting. Thank you guys, because I know how you guys were, kind of the people, I guess, like you were saying, more recently, you guys have been stepping up, and, we've been supporting, the Black community and stuff like that. So I was just wondering about your opinion about how it's going to go in the future, if we are going to have a chance to have some type of reformation in the country, maybe. Like, what is your opinion on, there's a lot of movements going on right now. There's a lot of stuff that has come out thanks to Trump. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I don't know. I think it's a good thing.
Okay, well, let me find out a couple of things here, Ilda. You have an accent. Where is that from? Don't be scared. Just where is it from?
I grew up in Mexico.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Northern or southern?
Northern or southern.
Oh
Mexico?
boy, nobody ever asks you all that now, do they?
No.
Well, she say, "Wow, I've never had a gringo ask me that before. Where'd that come from?" Okay.
A gringo asked you that. Oh. I usually just say the town I grew up in, which a lot of people seem to know where it's at. I don't know.
Okay, which town is that?
Guadalajara.
Okay, well, everybody who's been down there knows Guadalajara. So, all right. Well, that's cool. And you're living in the States now, or are you calling me from Mexico?
Oh, no. I live here. Yeah, I live in.
Okay, that's cool.
In Los Angeles. Okay.
Okay. Of course. It's if you're Mexican, it's going to be Los Angeles or Texas. It's going to be one or the other, basically. There, so because they want to keep the warm weather. Don't blame you. All right. Well, definitely what we're looking at here right now is the culmination of events that we've been talking about for the longest time. So we have been living in the system of white supremacy. And when you have a system of injustice, everybody's been trying to pretend that that's not what it is. And that is what it is. When you start overlooking these things, eventually it's going to spread out to other people. Now, what has been happening now for the last century at least is an acute focusing on us, and we're the ones who just take the brunt of all the mistreatment. And a more shameful aspect of it is everybody joins in with them on it. So everybody wants to get preferential treatment from white society. The easiest way to get that is to echo white society's mistreatment of us. And that's kind of been a real game and a culture that everybody's been playing. So we've just fallen back from it and just said, you know what, we're not going to keep, preaching that as if that's a good thing, because it's not. We're not going to do that. So that's where we are today. So we've just stepped back, and we're just going to allow the white supremacists to run wild for a little while without us running any interference, so that now the punishment and the discomfort gets spread around to everybody, including the folks who have been enabling this for so long. Because in Latino society, Asian society, Jewish society, Arab society, you've had a lot of folk within those groups who've been enabling that, and in many cases helping it. You're in Los Angeles, so you remember a couple of years back, the city council, some of the Latino members in the city council, they caught them on audio making racist statements against us, talking about basically joining up with the white members to target us. And that's how we've been living. We've been living like that, with people smiling in our faces, and that's what's really going on. So that's the reason we've had to make it a point, okay, we gotta step back, man. We gotta just fall back. And if everybody's gonna support white supremacy, then we just need to step back and let white supremacy do what it do. And the first thing it did was when we stepped back, they started grabbing up everybody else, which was what it shows is we were the only thing in the way of it. We were the only thing stopping that from happening. And now it's going to grab everybody.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, if they come for one of them, they're going to come for all of us.
Exactly. And it's the attitudes that's okay to do that. And, in all honesty, the civil rights generation was just kind of like, okay, if we just accept this a little longer, turn the other cheek and all that, eventually their righteousness is going to get a hold of them. And that's not really what happened. So that's where we're at today. That's where the ideology is about. That's what we're doing there. Is no hate on anybody else. It's just about, okay, everybody needs to acknowledge that there's a problem. And if the only way we can get them to acknowledge that is we sit back and let the problem run wild, well, let's see what happens after we do some of that.
I've heard about Project 2028. I've heard people, they're trying to do coalitions and, trying to get together. And I was just thinking that maybe, I just believe, and I believe that maybe we could, do some changes in this country. So I was just wondering if.
Well, what are the changes you would like to see?
Like justice. I guess justice for all of us. So those are at least that would be like number one, justice, which encumbers a lot, of course.
Okay, tell me the two top things that you would require that you would consider to be justice for all of us.
Well, justice for all of us would be to all of us have the chance to be better, a chance to grow, and a chance to be, part of society and contribute, and just be happy. Just making sure that we have a roof over our head, just make sure that we have food, just the basics, education, and that it's fair for everybody.
I think that's a wonderful ideal to have. I really, really do. Here's the issue that we have in that regard. we've been denied justice now for literally hundreds of years. Until now, it's just become ingrained in American culture. When we talk about justice, first and foremost, we are talking about socioeconomic justice. That's the first thing. We have been exploited. Everybody else has benefited off of us except us. It's become government policy to target us. They hate us because we're black, but they're able to victimize us because we're poor. So a system that rigs the system to keep that kind of thing in place, that to us is the first pillar of justice, because if you are destitute, you're powerless. So that's number one. Number two is a policy of acknowledging that you don't have a right to harm us. So that actually comes second, because once you got the socioeconomics, you can actually enforce that on your own. But the second one is a whole lot better if people don't sit up here and try to impose that themselves. So there's where it becomes a problem at. In your case here, for example, how long have you been in the States?
I actually was born here and I went to school in Mexico from the age of 10 to 21, I guess, did college.
Okay. And why did you end up back in the States?
Oh, because of, there, I don't know if you've ever been to Mexico, but there's a lot of corruption, the same.
We got a lot of corruption here in the States, man. We got a lot of corruption in California. That homeless program they had, which has literally stolen billions of dollars. We got plenty of corruption here in America.
Not a lot of opportunities for, it's only for the select few that get the best jobs, that get the best salary. There's really not equality.
That all sounds very familiar. That's been our experience here every day.
So if you're poor, if you just live, you don't have the same opportunities as the elite, the people that are with the government or the people that have money. So there's really not a chance for us to move up in Mexico. So, coming over here, if I had to compare and I had the option to come back to the U.S., so, of course I came back, I would have the stuff I have now that, because in Mexico, you really can't really have a lot.
Right. And that's something for us. I have a couple of questions about that too. Maybe you can help educate us about that, because I do have a couple of questions about that. Because, for example, do you think that sounds a little opportunistic?
If it sounds, if there's an opportunity, I think we all should be ambitious.
Right, but right, you're correct about that. Ambition, that's cool and everything. Yes, that's fine. But what about allegiance?
Allegiance.
Yes, ma'am. What about allegiance?
Well, I'm not sure. Well, allegiance to what? To being a human being? What are you talking about?
Man. Okay, here's the thing. You said you were born in the States, but you went to Mexico, but the only reason you left Mexico is because you didn't have as many opportunities in Mexico. What that tells us that if you had more opportunities in Mexico, you would have stayed.
Of course.
Right. So you had a preference. So you had a preference for Mexico. And the only reason you left is because, Mexico you had a better opportunity in the States. So you don't, so you're of Mexican descent, but you don't actually have any allegiance to Mexico.
No, I just have allegiance to, whoever is willing to help me. Like if my family would help me, I would have I would do that, it would be my family or whatever is supporting me is that's what I would be, I would.
Right.
So
now, to everybody who was wondering why I was asking this, the 720 degrees of analysis you receive absolutely nowhere else. So in other words, your allegiance is to whoever is strongest and gives the most benefits.
where there's more opportunity. Where
Okay, well, opportunity, that's a nice word, but let's use the word benefits, because opportunity for you is spelled benefits. You didn't want the opportunity to work more. You wanted to get more rewards for your work. So whoever is giving the most benefits is where your preference and allegiance is.
Well, if I have the option, of course, I'm going to take it.
Right. But do you see how that can be problematic? Explain this to me. How do I trust somebody who, if Donald Trump makes you a better deal to turn on me, well, why would you not take it?
Well, I have morals, number one, and I believe.
But you just said that you would roll with whoever gives you the best opportunities. So if Donald Trump or the white supremacists give you a better opportunity at my expense, you left Mexico to come to America at Mexico's expense. Why would I not believe that you would do whatever they want at my expense also?
Well, immigrants have been in this country since day one.
Okay, ma'am, do you realize that's an oxymoron? Immigrants have been in this country since day one. By definition, you can't be an immigrant who's here from day one, by definition.
So the indigenous people have
that's like saying guests at a hotel have been here since day one. I mean, no. The folks who built the hotel and owned the hotel have been here since day one. The guests showed up on day two. But go ahead.
In this country for many, many years, hundreds of years, there's been immigrants in this country. The white people are immigrants. So I don't see why are you saying that if somebody gives me money, or if, I'm just going to change, because somebody's going to pay me, or
no, ma'am. Okay, here's my point. Mexico needs you. As a Mexican person, Mexico needs you. Sure. And you, okay, well, let me finish. Okay, well, ma'am, okay, that's an incidental characteristic. Your allegiance is something that you choose, and you have made a choice. And what I'm saying is that Mexico needs you. And you said, if Mexico, yes, I'm of Mexican descent, but I don't have allegiance to them. I have allegiance to whoever makes me the best offer. And so what I'm saying is that yeah, right. And well, you say treat you better whoever gives you the best offer. And what I'm saying is that that's one of the metrics that's one of the metrics that you define treating you better as. Who gives me the best opportunity, who gives me the most benefits. Okay. And inferred from that and inherent in that is the understanding that, by the way, now that you're in California, anybody who wants to work together with you for justice has to remember that, by the way, what if this runs contrary to whatever she defines as in her best interests? What if working with the rich folk in the power structure is in your best interests? Now what?
Look, I came from nothing. And I really don't want anything. I just want the basics.
Okay, but you do want something, ma'am. That's not true. You left Mexico because you wanted a lot more.
We all want a lot more.
Right. Correct. Yeah. And the real thing is, where does it come from? And in your situation, you were able to walk away from Mexico because America offered you something better. And the only question that we would have is, okay, so if she was willing to turn her back on Mexico for this, what will prevent her from turning her back on us?
Back on Mexico. I mean, I'm going to be a better person.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Your audio went out.
I'm going to be a better person.
No. Before that. Did you say that you didn't turn your back on Mexico?
No, I mean, I'm never going to stop being Mexican. I'm never going to say, oh, I'm not Mexican.
Right, but you're not contributing to, but you're not contributing to Mexico's greatness or Mexico's prosperity. You're contributing to America's.
Sure that we are all representing our country when we come to America.
So you don't represent America, you represent Mexico.
I'm
You just said that. I'm repeating your words.
because you are trying to say that I'm only representing Mexico.
No. I'm not trying to say that. You just said it.
Well, why do you say that I turn my back on Mexico?
Okay, well, ma'am, first of all, I need you to pick a side. So which side are you on? Are you on Mexico's side or America's side? Which one are you on? Before I can go any further, because otherwise you're just going to keep wanting to have it both ways. Okay, which one is it?
I'm on America's side.
Okay, you're on America's side. Okay, so you either represent where you're standing or you represent someplace you're not standing. Which one is it?
Where I'm standing.
Okay,
course.
so I don't see how you can represent Mexico in America. That would be like me going to Mexico and representing America in Mexico. You'd look at me like I was crazy, because I would be.
Okay, so is there, can you give us an insight of, is there any hope for this country?
Yes, there is, ma'am. The first thing is to clear up confusion. That's the first thing. You cannot have it 15 different ways. You cannot say that the Constitution is a document written on justice that we can all trust and then turn right around and tell us how the Constitution codifies and supports injustice. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Either you're supporting one thing or you're not. So in your case, I'm not questioning if your heart's in the right place necessarily. I'm not questioning that. What I am saying, though, is that you do realize what you articulated. What you articulated is you have a you first agenda. And at the beginning, you were like, hey, we should all just look out for ourselves. And I'm like, yeah, and that's exactly the problem that we've been running into, including from some folks who may otherwise mean well. But if the rubber meets the road, there's not really a whole lot to prevent you from making a decision that would be against our interests at our expense if you stand to benefit from it. Maybe you wouldn't do it, quote unquote, maliciously, but it's still there. So my question to you would be, what are you willing to do to make sure that that doesn't happen?
Well, I pledge allegiance to the flag or something like that.
Okay, well, that I guess that's great and wonderful, but then again, I'm sure at one point you pledged allegiance to Mexico's flag, and that didn't turn out so great for Mexico. So I can't base it on that. So what else you got? Because let's be clear. You don't actually acknowledge nations or borders. I mean, you just see it as, hey, wherever I get the best deal, but you don't actually have an allegiance to a nation or a border.
Because it's not that it's, I have an allegiance. Exactly. I have an allegiance to wherever, I do have an allegiance to America because this is the country that I'm in and I respect, and I've been here for so many years and it's given me so much. I've learned, I've grown. And there's a lot that this country has given to immigrants. So
yes, hey, they've given far more to immigrants than they did to us. Now, let me give you the contrast of us. America has treated us despicably and horribly since day one. We never made it our policy as a people to up and run somewhere else, even though we have gotten the worst, crappiest deal out of America while it's given preferential treatment to immigrants, including illegals. They've never given us the same benefits, and we never said, well, let me go see if I can get a better deal somewhere else. We stood and we fought and we stayed here regardless. That runs in stark contrast to what we hear from so many of you. And that's the part that we would need to have some clarity on, because we're like, hey, if you've done it before, you'll do that again.
So will you try to contribute, or will you be willing to, work with the government to make this America better, and where you guys are being included?
I mean, okay, by definition, of course we are, but the question is, will you?
Of course. Yes.
Okay, but if they start, my concern is that if they start putting pressure on you and talking about taking benefits from you, your attitude will change. Because you didn't leave Mexico to come to America to get less. You came from Mexico to America to come up. And if they start threatening your come up because you support us, well, what would stop you from doing us like you did Mexico? And just say, okay, let me leave them behind because that's.
Well, I was just thinking that, if we could just all come together, it doesn't matter, like you said, right now they're attacking the white women. Yesterday it was the Muslims. The day before that it was, Japan or whatever it is, right? But
you didn't mention Latinos.
Well, right now they're targeting Latinos, so of course,
Okay, I'm about to say she was mentioning everybody else, but she left that one out. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm just wondering if we can all come together. If you foresee that we will one day in America, maybe.
Okay, well let's start from there. For example, you know what? Let's start there. You live in Southern California, right? All right. Are Latinos opening the door for us in California?
Of course.
Oh, good. Give me a couple of examples.
Well, opening the doors, like what? Like opening the doors, and in what way? Like giving you what?
Okay, you were the one who said they were. I'm asking for details. You said it was. I'm just asking you. What did you mean? You said it was.
Well, we all live in the same areas. I mean, we work.
Is that a true statement, ma'am? I mean, is that really an accurate statement?
That we live in the same areas. We have the same opportunities. We have. I don't know.
Okay, are you saying that black people in California have the same opportunities as white Latinos?
I would assume so. I don't know.
Okay, are you sure about that?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
let me ask you a question about something else. If a black person is driving around and they don't have insurance on their car in California, in Los Angeles, what's going to happen? They get pulled over by the police. They don't have insurance. What's going to happen?
Oh, well, they'll probably impound their car or something.
Okay, right. Now, as a Latino, if you get pulled over by the police and you tell them, oh, I'm an illegal from Mexico, and that's why I don't have insurance, what's going to happen to you?
Well, right now, I guess they're going to take me away or something.
Okay. No, ma'am. They're not going to do that. Not in California. If you don't have insurance, they're not going to do anything to you. You have an advantage. Yeah, you might have been born in the States, but the thing is you can pass for a native Mexican. And all you're going to do is just tell them, oh, I'm a non-resident. And they're going to say, oh, that would be a hardship to tow your car. I've been documenting that now for over a decade. That one thing right there alone, that's a level of privilege that we simply don't have. But by the same token, nobody's been fighting for us to have that either. We live in the same neighborhoods. Ma'am, I've been to Skid Row several times. There aren't nearly as many Latinos on Skid Row as there are black people. Not even close. So we live in the same neighborhoods. We don't live in Skid Row together. Now, why is that? Have you been to a Latino restaurant recently in Los Angeles?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Oh, say again?
I go to Mexican restaurants.
Oh, that's great. By the way, how many black folk are they hiring?
Well, I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't seen any. I think they're probably intimidated because of the language. Right?
Okay. Exactly. Who is intimidated because of language?
Oh, I would think that maybe you guys wouldn't feel comfortable working in a Mexican restaurant because a lot of people speak Spanish and there's like that language barrier. I don't know if you guys would want that job. Would you want to work at a
Man, we do that now.
There's something, I don't know.
Man, we do that now. You got plenty of black folk working in restaurants all across America, including Los Angeles, but you know better than this. When Latinos show up, they immediately start filtering out the black folk and only hire Latinos. I was in Dallas when that happened back in the 90s. Black folk in here have been in California watching that happen for the last 6 decades. You already know this. That's why you can't name a single restaurant. Now, at our restaurants, they don't even have to speak the language. First of all, let's be very, very clear, ma'am. That's not an excuse either, because you know better. Everybody in Mexico speaks English. And we only get the me no speaky Inglés when they come to America, but let's keep it real, Hilda. Everybody in Mexico speaks English, baby. Can we go ahead and just put that on the bricks right quick? Everybody speaks English down there in Mexico. They didn't come to America guessing the language. That would be a death sentence. So they know the language. When we show up for some of that reciprocity, that's when that becomes a problem. They've never had a problem with us when it comes to the music industry, the entertainment industry, the restaurant industry, the club industry. We have never had an ethnic cleansing policy where they're concerned, nor have we had a discrimination policy. Ma'am, I've been to Tam Burger, Rosecrans and Central. We can do this little game here all day. You know they don't hire us. You know that. In the places where they speak straight white English, you know that the policy is nobody but Mexicans. You know that. Come on now. We can't have an understanding if one of us is going to be dishonest about it. We both got to be honest about what it is. I'm not going to misrepresent things, but ma'am, you know what the code is. You know full well if you brought 3 black folk to the Mexican restaurant, you know you would get your ass kicked out the cookout.
I'm not a restaurant owner, but I guess I can go interview a restaurant owner if you want me to. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know about the hiring. What their policy is.
Ma'am, you know that doesn't happen in Mexico nor America. Come on now. You know that that's the policy. You know that. You know that. You know full well that that's the policy. And what I'm saying is this moment right here that you and I are having, this is the stumbling block right here. Hey, I want us all to get together and I want you to help us over here while we don't do anything for you over there. And this
mutual thing, because I always hear this resistance.
Yes, ma'am. We are, and our resistance is because acknowledging basic things that are happening that are in the way, dancing around it like this. Come on now. This is not just insulting to our intelligence. This is also sabotaging that thing you claim you want. If you will not acknowledge that, by the way, a lot of y'all are treating us the way the white supremacists do, we can't go any further. Because you're telling us to just ignore how we're being. How do we have a coalition if you are exempt from the coalition?
Why would you be exempt? I don't get it.
No. How can I have a coalition with you if you are exempt from honoring that coalition with me?
Why would I be exempt?
Okay, but if I don't have full faith and credit when I walk into your restaurants, when I walk into your bodegas, when I walk into the cookout, if I don't have full faith and credit with you there, we don't have a coalition. I've got to get the same treatment that you get over here with us. It can't be a one-way street. If I can't have that, there is no coalition. In which case, now I got to fall back and let Trump do. So that's the thing right there. Baby, you know what the situation is. I chose the restaurants because everybody knows that one. Everybody across America knows what's happening there. And this wonderful woman who was born in America, went to Mexico, and then said, deuces, back to America. It lives in Southern California, lives in Los Angeles, is telling us that what all of us see every day in Los Angeles, that ain't really what it is. Well, maybe it's because black folk don't want to work in Mexican restaurants. I mean, ma'am, really? Really?
Fine. So I guess there will always be resistance.
Okay, what I'm saying is that there's not going to be us playing dumb. And why would you want us to play dumb, Ilda? Why would you want us to deny what we see in front of us? Why would you want us to do that?
Well, I just thought that maybe we could just all get together.
Yes, we can. And first thing we need to get together, we're going to start this national getting together in Los Angeles. We're going to start there, and we're going to start with, by the way, we need y'all to treat us the way we treat you when you come over on our side. So the gangs targeting black people and the Mayate and all that stuff. Yeah, okay, yeah, y'all don't see her face right now. Yeah, she didn't know about that. Yeah, that's an issue right there. Yeah, y'all don't get that kind of treatment. A Latina female can come among us and be Jennifer Lopez. We don't have any black women who get that kind of support among your society. We don't have that. You can't name a single one who's come up like that. Not one. Not even one. Now, that's a problem. Being the majority of the population in California and we haven't benefited at all, that's not an accident.
I just believe that we could all do better.
I absolutely agree with you there, and that's where we need to start.
You have a huge megaphone, and
I'm using my megaphone to say I need you and me to be on the same page right there.
We are on the same page.
Okay, I
don't want for me, but I'm just saying that we all want the same thing, and I think we should all get together and maybe things could change in America.
The reason why black folk can't work at your restaurants is because the Latino community would start throwing bricks and firebombing the restaurant if they walked up in there and saw black folks. They'd be like, why are we not employing our own people? Now, that would be the immediate response. You have never walked into a black restaurant, and that was the response black folk gave. Even if black folks should be saying it. You've never walked into a black restaurant, a black store, a black music club, and that was the response you heard. But you have heard that yourself personally. You've heard that. Matter of fact, you probably said it a couple of times.
Look, I don't want to argue about that kind of stuff because that's not really me. I really don't talk about that kind of stuff.
And that's the reason you can't have that reconciliation that you're talking about. If you will not deal with the problem, then you can't fix the problem.
Well, that's why I'm wondering because I know I can't fix it, but I'm wondering.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you know you can. I just explained to you what the problem was there. Now, if you want to fix it, you have to now be our voice in Latino society to articulate this. We don't need black folk going to talk to white people about racism and systemic racism, white supremacy. We need white people to talk to white people about racism and white supremacy. We don't need black folk to come wag their fingers at Latinos about how you all know we getting treated. We need Latinos to take Latinos to task over that. But you're afraid because you don't want to get busted upside the head. That's the issue.
I'm just saying that I don't want to argue that point with you here.
No,
right
you
now.
You don't want to argue that point with other Latinos because you know what they're gonna do.
I really look. My family, we are not like that. So I just don't. I really don't listen to that kind of stuff, and I don't. I really just.
How many black neighbors do you have?
Why do you want to ask me that question? I live in a Hispanic neighborhood, so everybody here is mostly Hispanic.
Right. Which was my point.
Yeah.
The whole time. So.
Yeah, because if I go live somewhere else, I'm sure it's gonna be different, you know.
Because here's the thing, since Trump got elected, we've been getting with a whole lot of we want black folk to come help us and can't we all just get along and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, we can't get along at y'all's restaurants. We can't get along at your car washes. We can't get along at the city council. We are the easiest folk to get along with. As a matter of fact, we become the place where everybody dumps their trash. That's just how open we are. All right. And we just like, okay, we're going to reciprocate with everybody who comes to the table talking reciprocation with us. And just that basic question I just asked you right there, that tells you everything.
Should I just ask my neighbors to start listening to you, or
absolutely. If you don't think you're going to get your house firebombed, I mean, if that's not going to happen, you can do that. But the other thing here is when you go among Latinos, you need to go carry this message over there. Even if you yourself don't necessarily want to believe it, here's the thing I want you to remember. If this issue is real to us and you want us to have understanding, then it better be real to you. Even if you think that we are totally out of our gourd and totally inaccurate, if you're going to politic for us, then you have to do that in good faith. And that means that if this is what we really think, you have to go talk to your people about what we really think, and then we can move on from there. It can't be, well, they kind of silly and crazy, but let me tell you what their silliness. No. This is what they really think.
You know that we will support you guys 100%.
We got questions about that because we ain't seen it.
Well, I can't. I don't know what to say.
I'm not denying that there are individual Latinos who are on the right side of things and do articulate this. I'm not disputing that. The real thing is, but by the way, do they represent the group? And they don't represent the group. And that there's a reason why they don't. And that needs to be handled.
Start a survey on Hispanics to see if they support the Black community. You want to do that?
Sure, that's great. That's wonderful. Let's start with your local restaurant. We can start there.
Okay. If you want me to help and see what you.
Well, look, you got neighbors and stuff like that. I want you to go to the local taco restaurant and go do a survey about the employees and ask them about why black folks don't work there.
Well, if I go to my local one, I can tell you because I live in a Hispanic neighborhood, so that's probably number one.
Explaining. Okay.
And that's all I'm saying. I can probably go try to get a friend or somebody to see if he can come and apply.
Yeah, we can start there.
Like that.
Yeah, we can start there. That's fine. You can start there. And then let us know how that goes. And then when they start saying no, then you can start saying, okay, we need to have a conversation about that because I'm trying to get all of us on the same page because we all need to work together. And yeah, this kind of stuff here is in the way. So do that and get back to me. Thank you very much. Give us a call tonight. Yes, I need to take time with that. Yes, I need to slow roast that one. Yes, we need to take our time with calls like that. Yes, we do. No, we don't need to fly through a call like that. We need to take our time with calls like that. Yes, we do. Because remember, thousands and thousands of people are listening to us. She said we got the megaphone, and she's right. Yes, they need to know exactly what the issue is and that we're not just making this up, that we're not just saying folks is just down on us. No, I am pointing out specific issues. We're not making this up. It's not hyperbole. It's not exaggeration. I can point to the specific issues and ask what those are, and then that's what the real response is. You got plenty of black folk who work in food industry in California and particularly Los Angeles. Any of these YouTube food critics and YouTube food influencers, you got hella black folk in California. What you don't have, you got Asians making black food and Latinos making black food. What you don't have is Latinos hiring black folk making the black food. Now that's what you don't have. And by the way, you can taste the difference.
Cool. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Now, you would never imagine to go around a whole city that has taco restaurants and Mexican restaurants and all the black folk run them and there's no Latinos working there. You'd be like, this is odd. But yet you got all these places here mimicking soul food. Now the black person in the place. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom right quick here. Let me see if I can get Kazim. We've been going on for a minute here, so I might have to go a little bit faster. But Kazim, let me see if I can get you up here on Zoom right quick. We'll try to do that. I don't see Kazim here, so I'll give Kazim 5 seconds to go ahead and join us. Then we're going to go ahead and move on. Okay, Kazim, there you go. Unmute yourself, sir. What's on your mind?
Okay. Yes. I wanted to, apropos this last conversation.
Okay, turn that back on for me, sir.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, apropos that last conversation, is there a way FBA can use, political triangulation to get what our demands are?
Yeah, we're doing it right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're doing it right now because that's the point I was making at the beginning of the program. We're not backing Democrats or Republicans right now.
Right.
So
exactly.
that's why both of them are trying to cater to us now, and both of them are trying to mention us, and all of a sudden Tucker Carlson loves FBAs all of a sudden. Well, you didn't hear that when there was engagement. So yes, brother, this is what triangulation looks like right here. This is what it looks like.
All right. Thank you. I'll let mine plane there.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Yeah, for those of you who don't understand, no, I'm not making this up as I go along. I'm not guessing my way through this. No, this is what triangulation looks like. Yeah, right here. Yeah, both sides against the middle. Yeah, we're not taking either side. Both of them need help, and we've fallen back, and they both know why we are. So the more we fall back, now we become the pretty girl in class. The more we fall back, now the more they start chasing. So yeah, you're triangulate. A triangle needs 3 points. We're at the top. These other folk down. Democrat on the other side, Republican. Okay, there's your triangle. There's your triangle. Yeah. Yeah, Louisiana Kitchen, I've been there, by the way. In the chat room, I've been there. Also, the Louisiana seafood place down the street from Tamburger. By the way, yeah, I've been there in California. Been there. Yeah, the Asians got both of those. And it's like, okay, if nothing but Asian restaurants with black folk running that, it's like, okay, you would recognize, this is something ain't right here. All right, let me see if I can get Abel up here on Zoom for me right quick. Let me see if we can get Abel up here. All right, Abel, let me give you 5 seconds here. Folks are running around. Okay, Abel, where you at, Abel? All I see is a hairline. Okay, Abel, you got 3 seconds here. Then we're going to have to go ahead and move on. Abel, I can give you 1 more second here, Abel. Then we're going to have to go ahead and move on here. Okay, Abel. Abel is not going to be joining us, so let me go ahead and see if we can move on here. Let me get Morpheus up here on Zoom for me. Let me get Morpheus up here on Zoom for me. Yeah, y'all, like I say, a lot of folks a lot of people think you just guessing your way through it and we doing a bunch of random stuff. Nope, this has all been very calculated and it's turned out exactly what we said. All right, Morpheus, what's on your mind? Okay, Morpheus, wake up, dude. You're on. Okay. Brothers, I can't have y'all messing up the program here all night. Morpheus, last try, brother. You're on.
Can't hear you.
Okay, Morpheus is having technical difficulties. He is. All right, let me get somebody I know ain't going to have no issues here since everybody else is. Brother Elijah, you are up on Zoom. What's on your mind, Brother Elijah?
Hey, good evening, big brother Jason. All right. Hey, excellent broadcast. I will not go long. I'm not long-winded tonight, not at all. Just wanted to make some points. I'm serious, big brother. All right. No, about the broadcast. No, I'm serious. No, the first point, that was can we just keep it a buck, big brother? I'm sorry that happened to that woman, but I'm not sorry about the overall situation because we gotta like how that nasty devil conservative on his podcast. Let's be very honest. These liberal women, particularly them, they have not been no friend of the black community.
Yeah, everybody wants to play us for a duck. Everybody wants to play us for a fool. When we start talking about the issues, all of a sudden, everybody responds the same. Whether it's Jill Stein, Marianne Williamson, Ilda just got off the phone. Everybody thinks we'll be the Negro Whisperer, and we'll go talk to them, and we'll go talk them down. And the first thing they want to do is deny what we're saying. When they come to talk to us, we tell them what the issue is, and then they start wanting to deny that that's even occurring. And we're just not playing along with that game anymore. We told you what's happening. You know it's happening. So this idea that you're going to get us to move, but at the same time deny that what we're saying is happening, but we're still going to move. Oh, this is the same old game. That's just the same old game. Everybody acknowledges racism, but once we start talking about what you going to do about it. So Ilda will acknowledge there's a problem, but when I say, okay, great, here's what we need to do. All of a sudden we don't want to do anything, but they do want us to start moving and jumping. So they come to us to see if they can get us mobilized, because that's what worked with old chicks back in the civil rights era. Here comes Gloria Steinem, and all of a sudden you putting up the black fist with her offering you nothing. She's not going to change anything. She'll acknowledge racism, white supremacy, and she going to get what she want. White women got in the boardrooms, and the black folk are still sitting out here on Skid Row. And we're just like, yeah, we're not playing this game anymore. You all know what's happening. And from here on in, if you come talking to us, we are only going to come talking to you about what the issue is. And as soon as you start that ain't real, we're going to grab our hat and our coat and we gone.
Yes, sir. All right, second point. That no good nigga, Byron Devil Donalds. Okay. I'm not that impressed. At least it has come to light that, somebody outside of us is calling him out, calling him a tether and this and that. That's cool. But of all people, Tucker the effing sucker Carlson, now all of a sudden he likes Tariq Nasheed, and he's been one of the most virulent anti-black racists all these years, and then now all of a sudden he likes Tariq Nasheed. He likes our talking points. Now, we acknowledge that delineation is in full effect, true, but listen, this a person like that, he has never stepped to the plate for us, and it's nice they calling out Byron Donalds because he's a no good bastard. But Tucker Carlson, he don't get no credit at all.
Yeah, this idea you're going to play us for a fool and that we're going to make simple-minded calculations. And like I said, yeah, the high IQ people just don't get it. We're way more sophisticated than that. In their little fantasies, we're just these, idiots walking around. That's why they don't want to talk to us, because it becomes very, very clear quickly, yeah, use the fool, not us. So, no, we're not going to make simple-minded. You're not going to be able to throw us symbolism. You're not going to be able to give us a compliment and that is going to be a substitute for tangibles. So don't tell us about what you agree with us there. Okay, I'm acknowledging this because this is necessary for us to show to you all proof that, yes, we're making progress. You can't deny it now. Okay, that's my function as the anchorman of the New Black Media. But that does not mean that we are off the tangibles. So whether they like us or whether they hate us, the conversation is going to center around tangibles. The conversation is going to center around empowerment. And I am only going to extend as much empowerment to you as you extend to me. Now, that's what it's going to be. And compliments and tokens are not going to get us off of that.
Of course. Of course. Hey, last point. These are two quick questions. The Florida gubernatorial race is happening. All right. Because Florida historically votes Republican. Do you think that's gonna be a bad day if that nigga Byron Donalds wins it, or do you predict he might a Democrat might get in there just to stop him, like how they did in Virginia and North Carolina with those other two Sambos?
Well, Miriam Adelson has shown up with her bank account. So that is to signal to all the Republicans that she's on board. So if he does win, it won't be because of him. It'll be because of her. And if she's throwing a bag that big, he's basically said that he basically wants to be an honorary Israeli. So what that means, if Miriam Adelson is not going to give you $45 million, which, as the guy told you, is a staggering sum for just a gubernatorial race. Yeah, she isn't doing that because it doesn't matter to her. She's doing that because Byron has already, conceded that he's going to do whatever she wants.
Of
So
course.
that $45 million basically gives her a deed to his ass.
Of course.
In
And
the
that
chat
Mexican-
room, Troy West needs to give me a call up on Zoom. So, Troy, we'll be talking to you here in a moment. I'll be glad to address that question for you. Troy West got 2 minutes to be on Zoom for me.
And I'm gonna get off that Mexican caller, that the Mexican lady. I'm not gonna be disrespectful, but can we just keep it a buck? I think she was just on here for attention, and she was just here to babble. She knows she's not realistic and everything like that. She wasn't making no point. She knows that she comes from an anti-black, racist ass community and everything like that. Ooh, come on. And then now all of a sudden they want to come with coalitions. Jason, you said this, your program illustrates the late great Neely Fuller's words. White supremacy takes both sides of the conversation. All right. And I'm just saying, like, is this woman realistic? She knows this is never going to happen.
Well, I am all for coalitions.
Yes,
but
sir.
my
Yes, sir.
stance on that now is great. To all the folk who've been mistreating us, I'm all for that that mythical coalition, that black and brown coalition we're supposed to have. I'm all for that. You start. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I am all for that. You want to mend bridges and stuff? Great idea. No problem with me. You go first. You go first. We've already put ourselves out there and got hit and bamboozled, misled, and hornswoggled. From now on, everybody who wants to build bridges, absolutely. I'm all for that. You go first. And let me see how much bridge building you do. And I will build bridges to the extent that you do. But from here on in, you go first, because we've been going first the whole time. You do that. Let me go ahead and see if we can get iPhone up here. Let me see if we can. Okay, iPhone. I can give you 5 seconds here if you're on your Zimbabwe broadband. All right, iPhone. I can give you 3 seconds here if you're on your Zimbabwe broadband. You're slowing the program down. Okay, iPhone. I can give you 1 more second here. You're slowing the program down. Okay, Timmy. She's waiting for that satellite phone to kick in. All right, Timmy, what's on your mind?
Hi, how you doing? Good evening. I just wanted to start by apologizing for last week. I got very heated with the situation, but I wanted to say this, and it's kind of geared to a question, because the Minnesota senator and all them, they're very angry, and he did threaten Trump that he will deploy his National Guard if he needed to kick ICE out, which is, I have been telling people that there's going to definitely be a civil war in this country. I just never thought to myself it was going to be between states and maybe federal or states to states. Do you see a civil war, but not what people would think?
No.
Why?
Because the Civil War was a result of a long-standing issue that had not been resolved, and a direct action by the executive against an entire portion of the country. So what you would need to have is an entire section of the country that got on the same page with each other. Minnesota ain't got no backup. California ain't got no backup. Texas doesn't have any backup. So the Civil War was the result of a confederation of states that wanted to defect. If I ever see that start to form up, for those of you who don't know your American Civil War history, you know, Fort Sumner was the culmination of things. The states have been talking greasy and talking crazy for a while. For those of you who don't know your history, they have been talking crazy for a while. That wasn't something that just jumped up one day. So I see a lot of folks here don't understand that. So yeah, that wasn't something they just came up with one day. That wasn't what happened. So, you know, when you talk about things like what was his name? Preston Brooks. South Carolina, Preston Brooks. Y'all can go back and go take a look at that one. Back there in the 1800s and the 1850s, right before, you know, right before then, the states have been talking greasy and doing stuff. He beat that man with a cane. Preston Brooks was a congressman who beat down another congressman with his cane. While y'all sitting up here bull jiving and acting like somebody sitting up talking crazy during the State of the Union, that is that serious. In the 1850s, he beat that man damn near to death with his cane. Now, that's what was going down in the Congress. You ain't seen nothing like that. The closest you came was January 6th, and in reality, if they had treated them like they did black folk, if they had opened fire on them outside the Capitol building, they all would have scattered. Which is exactly what happened when they popped Ashley Babbitt. Now, if they had been for real about that life and said, we gonna put about 20 or 30 of them down, then that would have stopped January 6th right there in its tracks. So, for those of you who do not know your Civil War history, the Southern states have been doing all kinds of crazy stuff way before we get to Fort Sumter. They have been talking all kinds of crazy. It was very clear what they were doing and what they were forming up to do, and the central government was trying everything it could not to take action against them. And it broke down along economic lines. Never forget that. Mississippi had the most millionaires per capita than any place in the country. That broke down among economic lines. That is not what you have today. If I ever see that forming, I'll let you know. What you have are a bunch of states who are given hunger pains and birth pains and anger pains. That's what you see right now. Yes, the discomfort is getting spread around because they let Barack Obama, understand Barack Obama is just the white version of Trump. You let Barack Obama abuse us for 8 years. Let George Zimmerman off the hook, Daniel Pantaleo off the hook. We let him do that for years. Now, if that was acceptable from him, we're just not going to play crazy about it. Go back to sleep. She's sitting over there yawning, y'all, so she's been staying up all night. Let me go ahead and see if we can get back over here on Zoom. Y'all go check your Civil War history. The South didn't just jump up one year. All those states got together and they was talking real greasy and doing all kinds of things. It was very clear what they were shaping up to do, and they were all coordinating with each other. So we don't see that yet. We'll see if it happens. All right, we got Sharice here on the line. Hello, Sharice.
Great program. Great program.
Sharice, are you alone tonight?
Not for long.
Oh no, girl, you and me gonna have this before we get to the business. Let us go ahead and get this out the way now. All right, girl, where is he at Disco 9000? It's the new year. Where he at?
He's out getting me some stuff and about to bring it over. So
okay. I'm about to. Is it the same he or is it a different he?
It's the same he. I'm a faithful SBA sister.
Okay, but it's not your faithfulness I'm questioning. It's not yours that was in question. It's somebody else's that was in question. So I'm like, okay, baby, if he brought the Mercedes tonight and got his brim on, I don't know how faithful he being tonight with the new year starting. He like, nah. She tried to be faithful for that first week. Fellas, y'all been there. You start the new year. Baby, I'm going to do right. I'm going to do right. That new year happened. Oh, damn it. You went to Publix. Oh, hell, you didn't know that chick over there was going to be wearing that bond number 9. Oh, damn it. I'm going to be faithful in 2027. I got to do this in 2026, though, baby. I'm going to do right in 2027, baby. Just trust me. Hang in there with me. I got to get this play out of my system. But 2027, I'm going to spin it around for you. So, but we'll see how it goes. Y'all, she's dressed up over there tonight too, by the way. So she got that auntie chic going on tonight. So, do you got your belly button showing too? Oh, there you go, y'all. She got the belly button out and everything. Oh, she got the. Auntie ready to do something tonight.
PA family, he is not telling y'all the truth. I do not have on no lashes tonight. I am chilling.
Auntie is getting ready to turn that key sweater on when the old boy show up. He don't know what he done got into tonight. Auntie is ready, y'all. Auntie is ready.
My point. Can I say my point?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I wanted to say great program, but I also wanted to say this. I feel like it is many of us, I can't say all of us, our acknowledgement, besides us really getting on code and understanding that we have a unique lineage, I think the second thing that really is our strength right now is our acknowledgement of our ancestors. I truly believe in a greater sense of beingness that is moving on our behalf, and all of this that I'm seeing. And I love how you give us another viewpoint of what we're seeing going on across the country. But I totally believe our ancestors are bringing the smoke on our behalf. And I noticed that, the Caucasian, for the most part, puts his ancestors on the money. He has a way of putting his ancestors in many ways into the worship of his mind. But for us, we have been told that's demonic. But I'm glad many of us, I can't say all of us, but many of us are getting on a page where we're recognizing that our ancestors and our ancestry is our strength. And that is what's helping us to be what we need to be. I just wanted to add that to the conversation.
Well, I appreciate that, ma'am. Well, y'all, she got her pajamas on, so she got something to do here in a little bit. So I'm going to let you get back. She got she got the whole kitchen cleaned up, too. Oh, she got the nice faucets, the marble top. That man, she is spick and span tonight. When a woman go clean up everything like that, and you got the nails painted too? Damn! Oh, then she got the multicolored nails done too, girl. Get off this phone with me. You got something else to go get ready for. I don't know why you might chip a nail. We can't have that. We got to start the new year off right. Thank you very much. I'm going to send you on your way. Oh, she got the nails done. She wearing the pajamas. The whole damn place is spick and span. That means somebody's staying the night. That's what that means right there. Somebody's staying the night. That Negro ain't getting out of there clean. He is not getting out the game clean. He ain't gonna get it. Auntie, chill. Yes, sir. She said he might have missed her last weekend, first weekend of the year. He might have missed it then. She like, oh, you're going to have to make up for that. You're going to have to make up for that. So, yeah, y'all, I ain't mad at it at all. I ain't mad at you at all. Black love. Just make sure he bring his arthritis medicine. Damn! Oh, we don't want to have a discombobulation. All right, let me see if we can get Blanco up here on Zoom for me here right quick. Let me get Blanco up here on Zoom. Yeah, y'all, she came tonight casual. She's okay. She came tonight casual. She already wearing the pajamas too. I'm like, okay, bro, he don't understand. He walking into a trap. He's walking into a trap. She got a whole agenda. All right, we got Blanco here on Zoom. Blanco, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Jason? Not to take up too much of the airwave, but look, 55% of white women voted for Trump, and 85% of white people in general voted for Trump. It has nothing to do with, like you're saying, it has nothing to do with, oh, did you vote for this, or oh, I didn't vote for this, or they have more solidarity with, as you say, the religion of white supremacy, and then only get mad when it happens to them, than actually standing with the actual principles. Because the ideas of what that one caller was talking about, the Mexican lady, like, yeah, you asked the right questions. Like, but what happens when the black family moves into the neighborhood? Like, again, like you're saying, like these issues aren't brand new, but I guess they're finally affecting everyone so that it becomes I guess now lexicon, as Tucker Carlson's doing it. But yeah, like you're nailing it.
Well, look, this is what happens when you take power into your own hands. And all I'm really doing tonight is just codifying for you all and confirming, the message has gotten through. You wanted to be agents of change. It has not been in vain. It hasn't.
Right.
It has not been in vain. It's working. These things never happen as fast. Everybody wants things to get solved in one weekend. That's not the way it works. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes it's slower, but if we are consistent and persistent, things change. It changes. And a lot of folk were questioning us before, by the way. Nobody's questioning the efficacy of it now. You just got Democrats complaining, but nobody's questioning whether or not a whole lot done changed very quickly. And us sitting back and saying, we're going to let it ride. It's like, oh, man. Oh, now it's like, oh, next thing you know, all kinds of folks are like, oh, we love them folk over there. It's like, all right, we didn't endorse them. No, we're holding our own square. We're not endorsing Democrats nor Republicans. We're not supporting either one. Now the one that can go up there and say we're on their side. No, we're on our side. And if you bring us something, we'll let you know if anything changes. I'll let you have the last word.
Again, the whole point of politics is that they're both competing to get your vote. So I don't know why they're not trying to give more or appeal to more. In fact, they pretend like they want to take away more. But it's more like Benny Johnson could only be in the position that he's in. And people like that, Turning Point USA, don't be fooled by these numbers that are algorithmically, set aside and, hyper boosted on purpose. Kids and Gen Z, and the Gen Alpha and whatnot, to land the plane, that like these kids only are conservative, quote unquote, because they see that there's nothing out there. There's no opportunities. And the only people that are with money, quote unquote, are these already backed by old money, the Benny Johnsons and TPUSA and Daily Wire types that sure, yeah. It's easy to tell people to pick yourself up by your bootstrap when, you have all this money behind you and you pretend that it's all, hard work and work ethic and whatnot. But at the end of the day, with the reality is these kids in college, they wouldn't have been converted, I guess, to conservatives had these people not been like already been, with the money. Like Benny Johnson doesn't exist without money. So yeah, like you're on point with that.
Well, look, I mean, everybody's trying to figure out how they can get our support and at the same time maintain the status quo. So the reason nobody really wants to do what we're talking about here is because they understand that our goal is to change the status quo. They're now all of a sudden we only become popular because the situation's become so perilous because it's getting balanced so evenly. They need as much help as they can get, especially going in the midterms. They just need us to remain disenchanted. Their biggest fear is that we're going to get galvanized and that what they saw in 2024 was a fluke. So they're really worried about that. So they think that, we want to boost them so they can go ahead and make sure we keep things the way they are. But at the end of the day, no, we're not doing either one. We're not doing either one. They really need us to be actively speaking for them because this is where Tucker Carlson and this will be making the turn where we actually support them. That's the mistake he's making right now. He needs backup because right now, in reality, he's by himself. The corporate powers and the institution of money and whatnot is actually against him. So they really need backup because being popular on YouTube isn't everything. Take it from me, I should know. All right, let me go ahead and see if we can go back to Zoom here again. We're going to try to get iPhone here again on Zoom. Okay, iPhone, what's your name?
My name is Mike.
All right, Mike, what's on your mind?
I have an idea. Like, all right, this lady, if it would have been one of us that did a crime, right, we would have been complicit to murder, right? We would have been complicit to murder. That woman sit there and told that woman to drive off, right? And run over that guy. You hear me, Mr. Jason?
Okay, brother, get to your point, man, brother. Go ahead, get your point.
No, but I'm saying if it would have been us, we would have been arrested for complicity of murder. We would have been arrested already off the scene because a law enforcement person killed somebody else, and we would have been arrested for that. Am I right?
I mean, whoever the black person is involved, you're going to get arrested.
Yeah, you're going to get arrested for it. But this girl sit there and told her, drive. she should have been arrested off the rip because she was complicit to murder. I don't care if she's a lesbian. I don't care if she's a pro whatever the hell she's proactive for. And then you got to sit there and think, them Somalians don't care about us. They don't even care about the white people. Why are these white people fighting for these people that's strong?
Okay, I need you all to understand something here. A lot of folks, their understanding of politics and social dynamics, especially social power dynamics, is too basic. Brother, the question you just asked, what I'm saying is I'm going to answer it like this. You all need to understand what a pawn is.
Right.
This is 4D chess. This is societal chess. The Somalians are a pawn. That's why I made the point to show you all. Did you all realize how many white women there are involved in what the Somalians are doing? I didn't get to discuss this tonight, but Tucker Carlson was upset because this white woman on your screen right here.
Mm-hmm.
She's like either the lieutenant governor or something like that in Minnesota. And he was complaining that, yes, she was the one most defending Ilhan Omar and the Somalians. So this is telling you this is actually something else going on here, and the Somalians are a pawn in the game.
Well, so are the Mexicans, so the Venezuelans.
Right. So when you ask about that, you're like, well, what the Somalians matter? Well, they don't. And they how do the Somalians matter? They're nothing, and they're everything. That's
so how can you be two things at once?
Because that's what a pawn is. A pawn is here to draw you out and to get you to give your energy there. So the pawn is a scapegoat. The pawn is an excuse.
All right. So
there's something bigger going on here. And the Somalians are just a pawn in that game.
Okay. And what about these people, the BLM people coming out again? We need to uproar and tear up the city. Why are they coming out again?
Okay, sir. Let me find out here. Where's that accent from?
Me? I'm actually from America. I'm from Florida, but I'm originally from Arkansas.
I'm about to say, yeah, you let that accent slip though.
No,
brother,
but hold on. I'm actually from Colorado. My grandma's from Colorado. My grandma's from Arkansas. I was born in Colorado because my family's from the military. So I moved around a lot.
He let that accent slip, y'all.
My grandma's from Arkansas. She's from Clarendon, Arkansas. My grandma, remember I talked to you when my mom died.
Okay.
When I had to go to
my condolences.
Lake Charles. I had to go to Lake Charles. Remember I went through Medine. My mom died in Medine. So I remember I talked to you when I went through swamps to go to my mom's funeral and pick her body up.
If I didn't ask about it then, I should have. But,
no, I'm really being honest.
Okay, brother. All I'm saying is that you got a lot of Fox News talking points here. So
no, I really don't have Fox News talking points. I'm just really asking about the situation because, like, these Somalians,
brother, ain't no BLM. First of all, when anybody talks about BLM, it's like that there.
I just seen them on a press conference, so I just asked you a question about the press conference, brother.
A press conference?
They had a press conference.
What channel were you watching? The Fox Business Channel? What were you watching? Newsmax?
No. It was all over YouTube.
All over YouTube, sir. I'm all over YouTube. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, Anton Daniels covered it. A lot of people covered it. They did.
Yeah, like I just said, y'all. Yeah,
but I'm not a right ringer, bro. I'm just sitting there saying I watched them sit there and have a press conference on it, bro, my brother. Okay. I really did.
When you hear folks yank out the BLM talk, it's like
I'm not holding the BLM, BLM talk.
That's like saying the Black Panthers was out there in Minneapolis. Why is the Black Panthers out there?
They had a couple women talking about, you know what I'm saying, we need to stand up and burn up the city. They actually came out and said that. They did. They did, brother.
Sir, you're bringing up inconsequential people.
I know.
How about the mayor? How about the governor? I don't think anything of them, sir. I'm going to say this again. You are bringing up inconsequential people. Once again, Once again, this is like folk talking about the black.
Opinion,
this is
I'm
like
not,
somebody trying to bring up, quote unquote, the Black Panthers.
I'm just asking you a question. What did you think when they came out and did their little press conference?
Sir, they are inconsequential. It's cartoonish.
Thank
Tell me who's following them. Tell me who's carrying their banner.
I just wanted to ask you a question. What did you think about that?
Right, but what I'm saying is it's suspect for the people who would even acknowledge it or take notice of it is what I'm saying. The folk who acknowledge it and claim they saw it, those are the ones I'm looking at. Who is taking that seriously to the point that they would even acknowledge it?
I'm not taking it serious. I just sit there and ask you a question about it.
But brother, you took it seriously enough to call me up and make a point of asking about it.
Well, first of all,
you took it very seriously.
I called you up. Now, first of all, brother, I called you up to sit there and say that white girl that sit there and told her to drive should be complicit in the murder. That's what I sit there and called you for.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, but what I will say is that you're the one who went off in the BLM thing. You're the one who brought it up.
I know. I was just having a conversation.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up. And what I'm saying is
I might
that
have slid off.
everybody who says that, it's like we kind of side eye that, brother.
You can't side eye me, brother, because I'm actually a FBA. You know what I'm saying? Be one first. But I'm just sitting there asking. I seen the lady talking on TV, and I was asking you your opinion about that. That's
okay. First he said TV, then he said YouTube. So.
YouTube TV. It was all over everywhere.
Okay, which YouTube channel did you see it on? I'm sorry. What television channel did you see it on?
I seen it on Anton Daniels TV. I seen it on YouTube. I seen it on.
So that's not television. That's YouTube. What TV network?
Well, I seen it on YouTube.
What TV network did you see it on?
It was on CNN.
She was on CNN with it.
Yes.
Okay. CNN aired the whole press conference.
Nah, they aired a clipping.
They aired a clipping of it. So CNN did a segment about Black Lives Matter in Minneapolis.
CNN does everything to sit there and try to stir up the pot.
Okay, brother, that sounds hella suspect.
How does it sound suspect? It's all over the place. Only thing you got to do is sit there and see the lady sit there and act like curious about something.
Well, I am skeptical, but thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Yeah, y'all, they was on CNN. Okay, I'm skeptical. I am skeptical. But yeah, folks. I mean, some of y'all here, some of y'all are like Fox News Light, and that ship is sunk. Yeah, we are not going to be born again Republicans. We're not going to be Fox News Light. We ain't going to be Charlie Kirk, Diet Charlie Kirk. No, man, that's not us. So anybody who thinks they're going to come here and, well, you know, I mean, them BLM folk there. Yeah, that's right, them BLM. Okay, don't let the fact that I played Tucker Carlson here deceive you or delude you into thinking that that's what it is. Okay, please don't let that fool you here. So to anybody who might have tuned in tonight and said, "Ooh, you talking about Tucker Carlson? Hey, you know that BLM thing? That's a golden oldie." Well, you know, I mean, that BLM in Minnesota. Please do not deceive yourself into thinking that me playing Tucker Carlson means, oh, well, you know, you know, Harris Faulkner was talking about this. You know, Dr. Thomas Sowell had a few things to say about this too. Hey, brother, you know, Candace is going to be covering this next week. Okay. Please do not be deceived. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get back over here on Zoom. Let me see if we can get Jay up here on Zoom for us here. Let me see if we can get Jay up here on Zoom for us here. And by the way, shout out to everyone who has contributed on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Y'all, let's start the new year off right. So if you are somebody who's new around here for that, make sure you go ahead and do that. Membership's always a good thing to have. It has its privileges. We got Jay here on Zoom, but I don't see anything. So, Jay, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to go ahead and get a light on for me here. And then we're going to have to go ahead and move on. Jay, I can give you 3 more seconds to get a light on for me here, Jay. Then we're going to have to go ahead and move on. Jay, I don't see you. There you go, Jay. All right, Jay, what's on your mind? Jay, wake up. You're on.
Can you hear me, bro?
Yes, sir. We hear you. What's on?
All Man, you're doing a master class, man. You're doing your thing, bro. Just want to give you your props.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. All right, let me go ahead and see if we can get Huey up here on Zoom for us here. Let me go ahead and get Huey up here on Zoom for us here. All right, Brother Huey, what's on your mind?
Not much, Jason. Wonderful broadcast as always. And as I look at hearing that white man speak about how he's complaining about his women, be honest with you, they created all of this just to hurt black folks. And I find that interesting that everything they do to hurt us, it always comes back to hurt them. When it comes to the stuff that's going on with Trump, what he's doing to other people, everybody's now banding against him. His own allies don't even want to mess with them. And this is good.
Yeah, I mean, look, the problem with white supremacy is it is inherently flawed because it is inherently unjust. Its goal is not, it's about white supremacy, but it's about white supremacy based on an ideology of injustice. That is what fuels it, is a desire to inflict injustice, gain power to inflict injustice. And you learn this as children when injustice is your motivation. If that's the only thing that unites you, then you're going to be in a constant state of conflict. Folks are complaining about HOAs today. Brother, you know full well the HOAs were created specifically to target us. As soon as they say you got to sell houses to black folk, here come the HOAs. That was specifically created to specifically target us for discrimination. Now, who are the biggest people complaining about the HOAs? Descendants of the very folks who started it.
Yep.
It didn't happen overnight, but every trap they laid down for us, you empowered the system thinking, great, the system's going to target them niggers. And then eventually the system's like, you know what? You pretty tasty too. Yeah, them Negroes is kind of skin and bones over here, but you're a nice, big, meaty, thick chunk. Big, juicy, big chunk. Let me take a bite out of you right quick. And next thing you know, they like the taste of it. Now, the system of injustice that you built and enabled, now it says, you know what? I want to take a taste of injustice against you now. And that's where it always ends up. Nazi Germany, Mussolini's Italy. You've seen this over and over again. It always ends up here. It always ends up in cannibalization and self-destruction. First, they start destroying from without, then they go to destroying from within.
Yeah, 100%. And I've been telling folks, it's like at one point where they were going to pass a law where everyone got universal health care here in America. White folks, they said, nope, the Negroes are going to get it. We got to strike it down. Same thing with college, where college used to be free at one point. Now you have to pay an institution fee to get in, and now they're complaining about that. So now what's happening is that devil's bargain is coming right back to bite them. And the thing is, some of them white women who came for the murder of Trayvon Martin, as you said, all that's coming fruition against them now, because now they're going to have to, now that they're realizing that they're on the chopping blocks with their white man, they don't have much options. Either they're going full lesbian or they're going to go date somebody else outside of the race. But other than that, they already made the devil's bargain. So at this point, with us delineating, Jason, it's been the most beautifulest thing ever. We do not have to think about none of this bullshit. The only thing we're thinking about is how much money is going to go into my bank account for my reparations check.
And we just continue to monitor the situation because that determines the next moves that we make. And it's a powerful thing when you say we're going to fall back and not run interference anymore here. What they thought that they had solidarity with the white power brokers at the top. What Elon Musk is doing right now. They've used racism to get the masses of whites to support them. And what they end up doing is supporting the power brokers at the top. And the power brokers at the top do not have the masses' interests at heart. So what they use black folk as a boogeyman to get the society to rally around giving them more powers. And they say, oh, don't worry, we're just going to use it against the niggas over there. We're just going to use it against them. Give us this ability to practice injustice. We promise you we'll only use it against the niggers because, hey, we're all white, aren't we? So we're only going to use it against them. And you have watched at time after time again that every time they go around and do that, eventually they turn around and say, you know what? By the way, let me test this power out on you. And eventually they're going to come around to the powers that you let them use us as the scapegoat for you giving them. The countdown begins. The second you give them that power, the countdown begins to when they're going to use it against you. And you can't name a single power of discrimination that you gave them that they didn't ultimately turn against you. Weaponizing the banking system, weaponizing the telecommunication system, COINTELPRO. You let them do COINTELPRO, and now you're complaining about a mass surveillance state. Well, you let them install the mass surveillance state against us. And you said, well, as long as you're targeting the niggas, that's all good. The mass surveillance state didn't start after 9/11. It didn't start after Bill Clinton and Carnivore and Echelon. You started that with COINTELPRO, using the telecommunications system to target a specific demographic, a specific people. That was when you let them do that. And you were cool with it, just so long as you thought they were going to just be beating up on us. And that's what made the difference right there. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Thank you for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that there as well. So yeah, folks, when you empower them in a system of injustice, they always introduce these things as, don't worry, we're just going to use it against the niggas and everybody else, you're going to be safe. And eventually, over time, slowly but surely, they start inching it closer and closer to everybody else. And next thing you know, they wake up, damn, we in the same damn grip with the nigga. You're biting us now. We're in the same jaws, trapped in the same jaws as the one biting the Negroes over there. You got us in the same bear trap. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how it goes. That's exactly what happens. Yeah. You all tell yourselves, don't worry, this will trap the Negroes. For a while, it does. For a little while, it does. And then eventually they do what they always do and open their jaws and like, okay, now let me grab you. With the exact same tools that you gave them, thinking they were just going to brutalize us. So we will all either be equally comfortable or we will all be equally uncomfortable. You just never bargained that one day you would get up and that would be our response. Is that, you know what? Let everybody suffer now. Well, no, us black folk got to suffer, so everybody else, at least some people can do well. Nah, let everybody suffer now. Yeah, we can all suffer. Yeah, maybe we can't improve our position, but we're done improving everybody else's. So, yeah, let us all, we can all suffer now. You're not really going to let that happen. Watch us. Yeah, watch us. And maybe now that we suspect that your threshold for tolerance of discomfort is far lower than ours, because discomfort is new to you. Oh, we've been living like this. Discomfort is new to you. It's not new to us. So it's not going to take very much to get you out in the street screaming and yelling. Yeah. Maybe if we let that happen for a little while, you'll start saying, yeah, if we can't all be equally uncomfortable, yeah, we should all be equally comfortable. Yeah, we're going to let everybody be uncomfortable until they change that slogan around to, if we can't all be equally uncomfortable, then we must all be equally comfortable. Until then, let the dogs have them.
And deal with it.
We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. We've had a good program here tonight. Tomorrow night, I want to deal a little bit more with this Venezuelan situation. I know some of y'all think this will be a good dovetail off of Ilda's call tonight here, but tomorrow night I got something I want to play about the Venezuelan situation here to go ahead and help further put this in its proper context, because there are some pieces that have fallen here and some things I want to cover about that. So on tomorrow night's program, I think I really want to deal with that a little bit more. In the meantime, I want to thank everyone, and I do mean everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo, shout to Q6234X5M. Thank you very much for your support here tonight. We appreciate that. To Rita, Val Hawkins, thank you very much for your support here as well. Melvina and everybody else here who has contributed to support tonight's program. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the haven of intelligent Black thought. We are the Black Media. So you better click that subscribe button, click that yellow notification bell, join us each and every time that we are here. If you haven't been to blackchannelfilms.com, check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program live or recorded. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.